All
Oh, we're
right.
live? Oh, sick!
Apparently we are live. Wonders of live
It
production.
looks like we're live. Good evening, good
All
afternoon,
right.
Oh, we're live? Morning,
Ap-
wherever you are
apparently we are
watching.
live.
It is Sunday,
What?
and you know what that means. It is time for another week of the Eternal Super League showcasing Netrunner's most powerful format. Oh, sick!
Apparently we are live.
Oh crap, my stream was all. Apologies if there was any echo. Hello, my name is Narco Mushroom. My pronouns are they and she, and I'm joined in the booth by everyone's favorite organized play Quagsire, Aksu. Aksu, how are you?
Doing great. Get to watch good Eternal finally on commentary. Been running the stream and hanging in the background for last 2 weeks, so finally get to unleash my true power here.
You're troop, I know. Yeah, you're a man of the mic at heart. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm excited to get some Aksu. This is the first time we've done commentary together. I think for anything.
I actually think so.
I think so. We're both washed. We're both washed Netrunner players, so like if you can't play, commentate. Um, that's what everyone does. So yeah, let's. I'm looking forward to tonight. We have some fantastic games coming up this week. Some really really good, interesting Eternal games. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And we have a bit of Eternal news as well, which I think we might jump into now or we kick things off.
Mhm.
Some of you may have seen this already in the week, but this post on No Signal's website announcing a brand new Eternal format lead. So my co-commissioner, my partner in crime, Wowerlock here in the ESL, was announced as the new lead for the Eternal format within NSG. Um, so firstly, massive congratulations to Warlock. Uh, a very, very well deserved position. I know he's very passionate about Eternal, um, and he's been wanting to see kind of NSG, kind of take more like how would you say, put more like sort of stock and stuff into
Mhm.
Eternal, and kind of update the format a bit because it's been a while since we've seen a points list change, since we've seen any Eternal,
Yeah, like
really.
almost year
From
ago or something.
oh yeah, it was kind of after 2023 Worlds, so that's yeah
Mhm.
over a year ago. We've been in the same sort of meta really. So yeah, very excited, very happy for Warlock. I would encourage everyone to go and check out this article, um, just because there's some great information from Warlock about why he loves Eternal, what his kind of vision as well is, what we can expect from the format with him sort of taking the lead. Um, and I know as well we have started Eternal. We've started playtesting for the next points list update,
Mhm.
um, which I'm really, really excited for. We've seen the points, those of us in the Eternal Playtest server, which is linked in the article.
Yep.
Um, that the points list changes that we've seen so far are really, really interesting. There's some really exciting games. Um, that or there's some really exciting changes. Sorry,
Mhm.
that I'm a big fan of. That I'm really looking forward to testing and to seeing if they'll make it through. There's one in particular that I personally am very excited about, and I know there's at least one person who has been very vocal about this change in the Eternal community. But I will keep things. I won't say much more. If you're interested in playtesting for the format, please check out the article, join the Discord server for testing, and get some games in, get some discussion in. I'm really excited for the format moving forward. I think there's been some great buzz and hype about it. I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot more people talking in the Eternal channel in GLC than I have in Standard,
Mhm.
which is great. Like, that's amazing to see.
Yeah, format is definitely growing. And even as the resident CV Anarch enjoyer, that probably is going to get hit by some nerfs. I'm still excited to see what's happening in the format in the future.
Right. Yeah. I feel that you're going to be a little bit sad when we can expect an almost certain hit to Clan Vengeance Anarch, which I think has kind of been the best deck
Mm.
runner side, at least, and probably across the format for the last couple of months. So, yeah, I would not. If you enjoy playing Clan Vengeance Anarch, I would get your games out while you still can. But
100%.
that is all in the Eternal Playtest server. Please check out this article. Great read, some great words from Wirelock about the format and why they like it so much, and what we can expect. And again, massive congratulations to Wirelock for his appointment in the role. We will link that article in the description of the video as well. I don't know if actually we might be able to actually, if you're able to post it in chat, maybe stick it in chat now as well, and we'll link it in the description as well afterwards.
Yeah, not sure we are actually able to link it in description, but ask in GLC, people will give it to you.
There we go. Okay, that is some broader Eternal news. Let's get into the Eternal Super League. If this is your first week joining us, if you've heard all of the buzz and excitement about it, this is the Eternal Super League. This is a community-run initiative, community-run tournament to showcase the Eternal format. There's a couple of us who really, really like Eternal. We love the high power that Eternal brings. And yeah, we're just really, really stoked about the format, but it doesn't get a ton of love from NSG. Obviously, it maybe isn't as popular, and I think a lot of people have a perception of the format that I think it's sort of deserved somewhat fairly, or it's earned somewhat fairly, somewhat unfairly. But we're here to show you that Eternal is an excellent format, full of really great games, really, really interesting games, and some amazing decks. And we've gathered together some of the best Eternal specialists playing the game right now. Some of these players you will recognize from standard tournaments as well. And we brought them together to play in this 9-week league. Everyone plays everybody to crown, I guess, an Eternal champion. We haven't had a big Eternal tournament in about 5 years. So, yeah, I guess whoever wins this is the champion of the format, I suppose. So, yeah, week 3 of 9. This is actually a pretty significant week because it's the last week that these players will be playing with their current deck lists. So after this week, we'll be going into the second phase where players are allowed to change up their lists. So people might make a few small changes now that they've had an idea of the meta game and what they can expect in the league. They might change their tech options. They might be making much more sweeping changes. They might be changing IDs entirely. We will have to wait and see what awaits us. So this is the last week the players will be playing these decks. From next week, they'll have potentially all players will have changed their decks. Maybe some people might be running it back. We don't know. We won't know until next week. But yeah, this will be a great opportunity for people to get the last little bit of information to see what their opponents are playing and to try and potentially make some pretty educated guesses as to what they can be playing against for the next 3 weeks. You know, if you know that the person you're playing in round 4 has been a Métis gamer or a CTM gamer, you know that you can maybe expect that again, and you can bring some counter tech to that. So some interesting deck building decisions to expect over the next couple of weeks as we wait for phase 2. But we have 1 more week of gameplay left. These are standings as of the end of last week. So right up top with a record of 3-1, it's a name that I think everybody knows at this point, Mr. Augustus Caesar. 9 points, 3 wins, 1 loss. He is sitting right at the top of the leaderboard, and right behind him you have this gang of 2-2 players. You have Lorea of 15-15, who obviously was on a bye week 1. So they are actually 2 games down, or they're a round down over everybody else. They have a game in hand. And you also have Ysengrin, Jai, and Toron all backing up that 6-point, that 2-2 bracket there, with Silent Arbiter, Haver of Fun, and Ren all at the back. So right now, still a pretty close field, not a ton of spread out, but we should start to see some big changes now at the end of this week, going into week 4. Aksu, you've been watching the league. Any thoughts so far over the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, like it has been really interesting to see these decks, like a couple of decks that we might have not expected or might have expected more that really didn't show up because it's an open field and you really don't want to roll Ob into like Clan Vengeance Anarch or CI into expected CBI raids or anything. So I think the field probably opening up for the next week, I would assume.
Yeah, I think it's. I know I was speaking of 1515, who is on Liza, and they made a really interesting comment in the server that they said they wouldn't have picked Liza if they had expected any of their first two opponents in weeks 2 and 3 were on Ob,
Hmm.
because that matchup is just really, really bad for Liza. So, yeah, I think you're seeing these kind of more educated or more sort of calculated meta calls and
Hmm.
deck decisions, which is really cool to see and has been really, really fascinating. And obviously, next week we'll be seeing that even more as players will know exactly what their opponents have been playing. It's maybe not, it'll be open, but you'll be able to make sort of educated guesses as well. So, yeah, it's been really, really fascinating. Um, and yeah, obviously the introduction or with bye weeks as well. Obviously, we have 9 players. Someone's not going to be playing each week. This week, you will not be seeing Jai. Unfortunately, he's sitting currently in fifth. So, depending on how results go from the people behind him, we could see Jai drop a few places. But again, things balance out. People are on bye weeks. At the end of this all, it should all. So, if you're a Jai stan, and I know many of us are, don't worry if you see him drop into the lower half of the table. It'll all work out, hopefully. Um, and if you're enjoying seeing Scorp, I'm very sorry, but there'll be no Scorp for you this week. Um, yeah, with that, Aksu, do you have anything else you'd like to mention or bring up
No, I'm
so far in
ready
the
to
last
jump
few
into the
weeks?
games.
Same. I am ready to dive right in. So, coming up first, we have Augustus Caesar. We have your number one player right now, versus Toron, who has been a big proponent of Eternal.
Hmm.
People have probably heard that name in mention of the fantastic document that people have seen floating around, that sort of Eternal primer. Augustus, we see playing Wizard, a classic ID from the FFG era.
Hmm.
This is an Anarch shell. Wizard says you put 3 credits, he has 3 recurring credits, and you use those credits to trash cards. And Aksu, why is that relevant in Eternal?
I mean, assets are just almost everywhere. I think Wizard not really doing anything specifically in this matchup,
Mm-hmm.
but in like it just means that you have to take against assets less, and you still defeat decks like Ob and just normal asset lists quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
easier. And it allows you to have way more tech in your deck, which I think Augustus is not repping anything specific for CI.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they were, I think Torrent's CI list is probably pretty good at blowing those things up specifically any like hardware or resources.
Yeah, I think a Toron, if memory serves, is not on the usual CI7, the
Hmm.
kind of scoring combo CI that we've seen. Toron, I believe he's playing a brain rewiring
Hmm.
CI combo list. Brain rewiring, a very fascinating agenda. If you know re-education ceremony, or not re-education ceremony, is it re-education ceremony? No, it's
It's
just
like
re-education.
re-education, I think. Yeah.
I'm thinking of dedication
Yeah.
ceremony. If you know re-education in standard, the re-education neurospike Jupstad grid combo,
Hmm.
brain rewiring is the same but better. It's only a 3-1 agenda, and also you pay credits. So once you have enough
Yeah.
credits, you can just blow up the runner.
Yeah, so your max 10 card hand size doesn't really help you. Opponent will just spend 10 credits and still blow you up.
Exactly. So yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. There's a couple of trashables that Wizard can target. Obviously, you have things like Jackson and Spin Doctor. There's also the Jupstad grids themselves. I don't know if this deck is on Wage Workers either, but you have yeah, I think there's a couple of hits.
Mhm.
But we'll see exactly we'll see exactly what Wizard is able to do versus combo CI deck very shortly. I think without further ado, I'm ready to dive into the game. Oxy, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to jump in.
Let's jump in. So as always, we show runner side. These games are pre-recorded. You'll see these games from the runner side perspective. And when we flip the match then around, we'll see Toron's runner. And this is a decent start, a decent hand from Wizard.
Yeah, I feel like it. Stuff like running hot interestingly in Augustus' list. Card that you
Mhm.
don't typically see here.
Yeah. Kind of very common, I think, in things like ESSA. Not as common, I think, in regular Wiz, but we're seeing here maybe looking for some extra clicks on, say, these against maybe Mati or something like that. But straight off the top, we see, after a great start from Toron, that violet level clearance, we see Caldera, and that
Yeah.
is that
I think I have
that
to
is
take back my claims that there's no specific tech for this matchup.
yeah.
This kind of blows
Um,
everything up.
yeah, this kind of stuffs Toron's deck a little bit. Caldera is a standard card. It's still legal and standard. And it says 3 credits, prevent a net or a core damage. And Toron's combo relies on dealing core damage. So in theory, all Augustus needs to do now for the rest of the game is keep 3 credits available at all times.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this Augustus, I think Torrent's list can feasibly score out if you are not interacting with the deck at all, at least, so it's not total game over yet. And if you interact, I think we might see a Hunter Seeker or Helion Alpha test come up and blow this Caldera right up. But Augustus probably just has to keep these Katorga breakouts in hand to keep the Caldera coming back.
Yeah, so yeah, we're seeing Toron is just moneying up, keeping Central ended. We're seeing a corporate hospitality into another violet level clearance, so plenty of cards in hand, plenty of credits available, and Augustus kind of doing something similar, just setting up, taking his time to build up money. And he knows that he's not in any rush. He has found his critical card for the matchup. He can take it a little bit easy. All he needs to do now is just contest anything that's put to the board, and try find some of his disruption. Potentially finding a Clan Vengeance or a Banghar.
Yeah, basically push for Clan Vengeance. I don't think Augustus' deck is on Banghar. So
Okay,
Clan
interesting.
Vengeance 0, still huge pieces to get down and actually disrupt your opponent in a way that they just cannot win at all.
Mm-hmm. Toran continuing to just money up playing a YDL. YDL, a good card in standard, even better in Eternal. With things like CI. But yeah, Toron probably just looking for some of that tech, and we see Augustus actually now on this turn pulling that Clan Vengeance. Huge for the matchup. Also finds a copy of Medium, which is his win condition. Now Augustus, I think, is just sitting in a really good position now. He's found his disruption. He has found the counterpiece for the combo. It's hard to see how he loses from this position.
And I think only thing that can happen here is that Augustus still has to get the Clan Vengeance down. And I think we have seen Helion Alpha test in Toron's list, which might blow the Caldera right up.
Yeah, that's an inspired tech choice. The Helion Alpha test. A card that even I am not entirely certain what all of its text is. As we see Toron burning through their deck, it is turn 5, and they have seen 28. 28 cards so far. Thanks to things like Violet level clearance, corporate hospitality, buying back a Violet level clearance. Yeah, huge card available. Augusta's not taking any aggressive lines, just sitting back, charging up this Clan Vengeance, getting ready to combat off. But right now, I feel like Toron's pretty Clan Vengeance proof at the minute.
At the minute, yeah, 46 hand size. Can basically draw your whole hand. Whole deck into your hand and just hold it in there. Doesn't mean that you can win with that though. That's the issue here.
Yeah, it's tough. Toron's probably just looking at what would Toron be looking for. We've seen the Hellion Alpha test, Hunter Seeker, but Augustus probably knows that that Toron is on Hunter Seeker, so it's probably just playing a little bit cautious. But we're seeing here some action for Toron now. Shipment from Mirrormorph, a really powerful operation here. 3 clicks worth of actions in one card.
Yeah, trying to push Toron for the combo here.
Yeah, I think, are we seeing some kind of a combo? I know I think was it last week we saw Ron concede with style in a play that started off like this.
Mm.
But I have a funny feeling we will not be seeing that. But here we go. We're seeing a push here. This looks like a brain rewiring. Augustus. Yeah, Augustus. This is the awkward thing with Clan Vengeance timings. You've got to be, it's always Clan Vengeance chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, Augustus, we're just rolling back a little bit. Augustus wants to pop the Clan Vengeance here for one
Mm.
disruption, maybe try and hit a combo piece out of hand.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why do you need to actually do that right here? Do you
Yeah,
have the
it's
Caldera?
interesting. Yeah, you have Caldera up. I don't think you need Clan Vengeance here. You do have and again as well, like the combo happens purely from the board. It's not like you're trying to snipe like say a Neurospike or anything like that. The Jupstack is on board. Well, we can assume the Jupstack grid is on board. So I don't know that this Clan Vengeance do a ton being popped here, but we're seeing it fired anyway.
Yeah, gets still one card out of hand. Might hit something really important here. But oh, we have. Yeah, that actually works
We
out.
have we have the alpha test. And that's GG. That is
Yo.
GG. And there we go.
Yeah, I think Augustus just last turn installing that Clan Vengeance, turning Hellion Alpha Test on, instantly meaning that Torn
Oh,
can go in and just blow the whole thing up.
wow. What a
Oh
turn.
no.
That was not how I expected that game to end. I completely forgot the trigger text on Hylian Alpha Test. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That is
triggering when your opponent installs a
incredible.
resource last turn is kind of an interesting trigger condition here.
That's certainly what I'd say. Yeah, it's that's incredible. And that's rough timing as well for Augustus. Um but yeah, that was just as Torrance saying in chat there, he just drew incredibly well. It looked a little bit ropey.
Yeah, I think we saw
Um
Violet level clearance firing almost every turn in that game.
yeah,
Definitely
it
a game where
fired to a
CI was firing with all cylinders here.
Yeah, that is the CI. That is the power of CI when you can chain clearance into clearance. It's hard to come back when you have a 20 card grip and all the money in the world, 46 credits.
This is why we
Like
take the CBI raid, everybody.
that's why we do it. CBI raid would have done wonders. But that is game 1 of week 3. And our top of the table, Lear, Augustus Caesar, has lost his first game in this matchup. Let's see, can he bounce back in game 2? And we have the boogeyman of the format, World Tree Woo. This is the deck that only Tauron is piloting this phase. And it has been, I know Tauron has been espousing the virtues of this World Tree deck. It's it's an incredible deck building accomplishment.
Yeah, it's definitely like Torn is the biggest innovator of this deck. I think
Mm-hmm.
we might see people jumping on the bandwagon here after the deck has basically proven that it can be consistent, it can still blow up, and you
Mm-hmm.
just have so much tech in the format where tech matters that it's tough to challenge with any other decks here.
Yeah, it's great. Like it is. Obviously, people are probably more familiar with World Tree Arasana in Standard and how that deck was just able to play a bunch of really powerful tech pieces without sacrificing a ton of deck building constraints.
Mhm.
Now in Eternal, you have access to Cabinet who can tutor any program from her deck for a click. And obviously it says things, it has the downside of it is removed from the game at the end, but that's not a downside when you just fetch an SMC and then you fetch your World Tree and then you are off to the races. And there is a bunch
Basically.
of very interesting programs, daemons to lower memory costs. There was a game I saw, might have been in the league, might have been in just JNet, where Torn had about 2 worth of programs installed,
Uh-huh.
and still just had the 4MU that you get for free
Yeah, deck
with the
deers and
game.
leprechauns hard carrying that MU solution there.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how Torn is able to deal with this matchup. Mati Mukundo.
Mhm. Yeah, I think Pati probably is the deck that can like stop your World Tree from actually getting that all that value, because you can
Yeah,
ice up every single server. It's one of the best Glacier decks in the format, competing with
it's kind
maybe
of the
Blue
only
Sun.
it is kind of the only Glacier deck. Eternal's not a format that's been known for Glacier. Those typical sort of ice strategies have
Mhm.
kind of suffered a little bit when you have access to some of the most powerful assets in the game,
Yeah.
and when runners have access to the best breakers and the best money options. But Augustus, I think, making a meta call that everyone is teched for assets, preparing for assets and combo decks, who's actually able to break ice efficiently in Eternal at the minute. And obviously, he is 3-1 at the moment. Um, Clearly, people are not prepared to break a whole lot of ice.
I mean,
Mati
you
and
can
ID,
have
that'll
how
think
much money you
are very
want,
good.
but if you have to break every single ice for 9 or 12 credits with MK Ultra and Black Orchestra, it adds
Ooh.
up at some point.
The other incredible thing that we might get to see in this game is people in Standard might remember Formicary plus Managarm Skunkworks. That fun little interaction where you get to double dip on the Managarm attacks. Mati is like that, except it's your ID. Mati Mukundo banned in Standard for potentially good reason. It's a bit of a meme in the community. Mati Mukundo, it says that when you approach a server once per turn, you can install a piece of ice from HQ, protecting that server at the innermost position. So the runner runs a server. They've gotten past all the ice. No, they haven't. There is another ice. The corp just gets to instantly put a piece of ice there, protecting the server. And with Managarm Skunkworks, you can run the runner or the corp reses Managarm. You pay the Managarm tax on approach. Then they let Mati fire. You break the ice again. Then you pass it again. And then you have
Mhm.
Managarm a second time. And if they add in Caprice Nisei, you are in for a very, very tedious remote.
Yeah, you definitely have to spend all of your credits pool for to actually get into remote.
So, World Tree Wu, Mati Mukundo. Let's see how we do. Maybe Mati is not score it fast enough, but that ID ability is able to just shut down those World Tree triggers really, really efficiently. So let's see what Augustus can do. Augustus is no slouch with Red Glacier. That
Mhm.
guy's been playing Mati or Ag or Restoring Humanity for basically since he got into the game about 2 years ago. So he is right at home here. Big red mid range Glacier. Let's see how he gets on against World Tree Wu. We have an opening start, turn 1, install, advance, ice.
Yeah, actually installing the ice there probably means that you have a second one in hand and you have to
Mm-hmm.
keep this remote secure, I feel like. So I feels like
Yeah,
Charlotte getting pushed here, just getting your econ online.
yeah. I don't think this is an agenda. Now we don't know what the agenda suite is. It could be something like an off-world, which you're happy to push like this pretty aggressively. But I think most likely we're looking at either an NGO or maybe a Charlotte. Toron's hand very funky.
I mean, your whole deck is your hand kinda here. You can like just
Yeah.
fetch Coalescence, fetch SMC and send it. But yeah, the hand probably not doing any work here currently.
Yeah, this is not a great hand for contesting like this. But in theory, you have a lot of time. You know, Matisse not a fast deck. It is a glacier deck that takes some time. So yeah, maybe Toron has a few turns to kind of just set up a little bit, but I think you're going to want to see. And yeah, here we go, scrolling through the
Yep.
list, looking for anything to grab. We're seeing this coalescence.
Basically click for 3
Coalescence
credits
coming down for 1 credit
with
less as well.
yeah, like it's kind of a just sick value from World Tree or from Woo specifically.
Yeah, this is going to be. We're probably going to see snapping out the SMC. We're
SMC.
going to run. Oh, dropping the Mayfly as well.
Yeah, just needing your credits, and you kind of had to get the Mayfly in, so you
Mm-hmm.
don't lose to like a Size and Town and just showing up.
The only thing I have about this is, can you install? Is Torn a credit short on installing the World Tree here?
Might be just like going for the remote and checking it.
Yeah, just checking the remote. So playing actually kind of aggressively.
Yeah, Tattoo Bola firing gets you your plus credits.
We're going to see Matima going to. You can jack out before they get to fire when they install that ice. We see another Mati. This is a very sick combo that Mati gets to pull off. You get a guaranteed ice to reinstall.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like a powerful card from the last set. Yeah, Tattoo Bola just showing up hugely in this list.
And Augustus leaving Charlotte, not popping for the 3 credits, actually saying, you know what, Toron, you burn those 2 credits to trash my my Charlotte. I've already been paid out here.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Like, now who has to actually spend time setting up here? You just cannot get like instantly into your World Tree, but you have 7 clicks in your turn, so get some free time here.
Yeah, we see that now, just popping out a zero-cost program that can be sold to ASOPs and creative commissioning back up. That is Hyperdriver, a very powerful card. But even despite that, even despite the runner taking a 7-click setup turn,
still most of those clicks are just click for basic cards, like click for credit, click for draw.
Yeah, like this is looking like a pretty normal enough game of Netrunner.
A current that we maybe have not seen beforehand is Interdiction. I don't think you have ever seen it during the Eternal stream. Basically a counter current only. Makes your opponent beat like on toes with Jackson timings and everything. And you might have to risk your defensive upgrades a bit early.
Yeah, so I think it's mainly because this deck is pretty heavily constrained on, I think. It doesn't get to play something like Employee Strike. I don't think it has the points for it. So it's forced to run something like Interdiction, which is obviously a pointsless current, just to be able to clear things like Scarcity and what else? Defective brain chips that we've seen. It's mostly Scarcity. You might see an enforced curfew, but it is mostly scarce.
Yeah, I think I've seen Torn also playing the Net Celebrity, which is also a second option for this if you don't feel like Interdiction is doing you too much.
Yeah, I think with a 125 card deck, you do need to run a couple of currents to be able to find them.
With any consistency, yeah.
So yeah, we're just seeing Toron just setting up. Again, very normal Netrunner happening here so far. Augustus is just installing, drawing, playing a pretty normal Corp game plan. Like, he just wants to score out behind ice. It's totally innocent. There's nothing strange or bombastic going on. And Toron, this is pretty good for these kind of control shaper lists. They like these kind of slower decks because it gives them time to set up, find their pieces, find their lock, and yeah, here we are just drawing up for Toron.
Yeah,
we saw a little bit of an undo of the turn, but yeah, this is just draw, install an Artist Colony. This is Control Shaper. This is a Control Shaper card.
Yeah, typically I think we have already seen Toron go for the World Tree like 2 turns ago, but just cannot get it set up here against Mati, where like face checking into central is kind of a death sentence here, even with no ice being installed yet.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like, you do these slap vandals to help, but it is very tough to get these World Tree triggers off. But I think we're seeing some action here because Augustus has forced the issue, installing 2 cards in the remote server, and we're seeing Coalescence, pulling the money from Coalescence, grabbing the World Tree and sending it just to get some action going.
Yeah, maybe bit of a, not sure if this is a mistake in ordering, because you install SMC World Tree before you have to eat this subroutine, and this might be fate. Oh! Just surviving!
Ooh, Nelly!
What did Augustus actually call there? Did we call event or program?
He called event. If that was
Oh,
programmed, that could have been
yeah.
lethal.
Imagine.
Whew. Okay, a close call, but this could still be a flatline here.
If
You
you have
know,
a snare or something, yeah.
If Augustus doesn't have the points for Obokata and is running Fuji instead, this could be lethal.
Yeah, true.
So a really, really interesting World Tree decision here. And we're seeing Muse grabbing a Coalescence.
Oh, Obokata,
Good
exactly.
Obokata protocol. Whew.
Yeah, and no shot you're running next turn without any of your breakers. Like, you just cannot take the same hit again.
And yeah, Augustus, that is the power of Mati right there. Surprise Saisantan.
Oh, Regulus mining license?
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah,
Just making money.
does make sense. Regulus mining license is one of the most concentrated econ cards for the corp side, I think.
Yeah. And we're seeing here, just trying to fire off these World Tree triggers.
Yeah, getting Mayfly down
You
here
see
before
Mayfly?
you run makes you so much safer here.
Yeah, this Mayfly is pretty clutch.
Yeah, Mayfly also interacting so well with World Tree because Mayfly actually just trashes after the run ends. So you can still. Oh!
That how that work?
Jeez,
Wait,
12
hang on.
credits!
Hold on!
Just, yo! Also, Chelsea having extra text against specifically AI breakers, I think. You have to mill too.
This is death. This is a flatline.
Is it? No. Huh?
This is 4 net damage. That's GG.
Oh, you can't break it! Oh my god!
Who needs Anansi's? Who
Not
needs
me.
Mati into Cortex Lock, Mati into Anansi, when you can have Mati into Chiashi? Oh my god.
That's straight from hand.
Just straight from the hand. Naturally. Just the natty Chiashi jump scare. Oh my god. Yeah, we were expecting a sort of, score 7 points, a nice, slow, normal game of Netrunner, but no, just surprise snare.
And that's
Get
eternal
snared.
sometimes, like including these kind of off-meta cards that your opponent cannot really play around. Just sometimes pays off hugely.
Like
who plays against Chelsea in that point? Nobody.
That is absolutely incredible. So yes, with that we have Augustus splitting with Toron, both players picking up a win. Augustus now goes to 4-2 on the leaderboard. Toron going up to I believe that's 3-3 now at this point. So Augustus continuing on, good lead, but we have plenty more games of Net Eternal to go. I say we just keep cracking. What a great
100%.
start. What a great start to week 1.
Both games
Or to
hugely
week 3,
explosive and not going at all how we expected in the commentary booth.
Both games going weird. Yeah, we saw the runner had that game locked up going into
basically both games,
combo.
like install Caldera GG's, install World 3 GG's, and just other way around.
Yeah, complete other way around. So we have, going into our second game, our second match of the week, Larea versus Silent Arbiter. Silent Arbiter bringing a fascinating ID, Cybernetics Division. I'd like to know, I don't think very many people, if you ask very many people in chat right now, what is Cybernetics Division? I guarantee people would say, I don't know. There would be plenty of people saying, what the hell? Cybernetics Division, fascinating, pretty janky ID. Each player's maximum hand size is reduced by 1. It's simple, it's clean. I've never seen this in Eternal until now.
Yeah, I have played against it in our Eternal League game. By the way, shoutouts to Eternal League running in GLC. Everybody should join who is interested in Eternal. Quick shoutouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to play against this deck. I was
cool.
huge, weirded out at first, like what is happening. then I got hit by it and understood quite quickly when my life was going down the drain, like what the deck was supposed to do.
Yeah, this deck is completely fascinating. I'm really, really interested to see how this goes. Lorea also playing Wizard, in the league. Clan Vengeance Wizard, as we can see from this opening hand. I think it's just it's the runner that I think a lot of people have just defaulted to. But yeah, very interesting to see what Silent is up to. A quick word as well just about this game. We did have some recording difficulties with the original recording, so we found the replay and re-recorded from the replay. So it should be all fine. We've re-recorded to keep kind of the pacing up, so it should be paced properly, and the tempo should kind of flow as the original recording was. But just in case you see any strange sort of hiccups, this one was a re-record. But it's the same game. It is a replay. Thank you to the JNet team for that replay function. It continues to be maybe the most peaceful game that's been added to JNet in recent years. Absolutely fantastic. So massive thanks there. And massive thanks to Warlock as well for re-recording this. But let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Let's see what Cybernetics Division does in Eternal into Wizard. And yeah, this is a decent hand, I think, from Wiz. But you're just missing that money. And, well, there we go. We have fixed it. We have fixed our hand.
Don't think you specifically need all your breakers, really. You just want your tech here. Specifically, I think Rumor Mill, a card that is hugely influential in this matchup.
Yeah, Rumor Mill is just kind of like the default, or kind of not the default, but the best current available to runners at the minute. And we're seeing a draw into Moshing.
Yeah.
Moshing does not work with I've Had Worse the same way it does with Steel Skin, but still powerful enough in Eternal.
It's specifically also finding out Clan Vengeance early on, hugely important here. It means that you can start setting this engine up. Though 3 credit, going down to 1 credit, but if you set that up with all of your drip economy, it still makes sense here.
Yeah, we're just seeing a drip start. It's hard to know what this deck is going to be doing. We did see an Estelle Moon, which is pretty popular, and you can just expect that out of basically any HP deck in Eternal. But yeah, this is just, we have a couple of remotes, or a couple of cards in the remote. We have it's an advanced assembly line.
Oh, that interacts so nicely with Tranquility Home Grid. Getting your runner turn installs, just huge value.
Well, we're seeing this combo, Clan Vengeance, 0, a classic combo. And there we go. That's what the corp is up to. It's Keeling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Runner down to 2 hand size already with ID trigger and everything.
Runners on 1 hand size.
Yeah, so
Enforced Curfew coming in.
Lara desperately needing to actually find the counter current here.
Now we're seeing a very just undo, players moving a little bit quickly.
Yeah, the classic Eternal.
Yeah, it's classic Clan Vengeance. Fun times. You got to kind of be careful after every click, after every action, to give your opponent that Clan Vengeance window. And as we saw, yeah, getting that Enforced Curfew sniped. But Lorraine is still on two hand size with very little money.
You have Faust, so you can run in there. Though if it's anything big, just vanilla, yeah, that's easy to take care of. Just cost you 1 card.
There's still 2 face down upgrades. Like we could be seeing like a Warrior Tracker. There could be Managarm. There could be a lot facing this room, and there's a Warlord.
Oh no! Oh, Ash also.
Hell yeah. So yeah, Ash. If you're not familiar with Ash, it's an old upgrade, similar to a little bit similar to Managarm, a bit like Adrian's size as well. But that Ash is stopping this Keeling from being taken down, and Lorraine's on 2 hand size. We've got a game.
Yeah, going down to 1 hand size after Silent Arbiter start their turn here. And if you don't clear this next turn, it's going to be pretty challenging for you.
Yeah, this is getting this advanced assembly lines, getting the Tranquility Home Grid.
Oh, new upgrade as well.
Yeah, new upgrade. I think that might be the Ash that was brought back with Archive Memories. So yeah, Yeah, chat calling out Kingdom for a pinhole. You would love a pinhole in this position.
Yeah,
And we're
Clan
seeing another
Vengeance.
Eternal card here. The price, finding a Clan Vengeance, really important in this board state. We're seeing the Strike Fund get pitched to Faust. Faust, if you know Audrey, Faust is Audrey's granddad. But we have another Ash, and this, yeah, Silent boosting into this. Loraya can't afford, so see, not trashing the Ash.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Desandigo R&D maybe tried sniping agenda to clear the enforced curfew out?
I mean, but there's no enforced curfew. It was Clan
Oh
Vengeance
yeah,
out of hand.
true.
So yeah, Silent is just drawing up here. The lock is there now. Loraya can't get in, but finding another piece of ice, that's gonna stop Loraya from getting in now. Now Loraya's not dead yet, not out yet.
You have one. Your clock is on 1 turn currently, while killing
Yeah,
just
you gotta
make it just
you.
creeping tighter and tighter here.
But we do find a medium, and a medium is pretty good.
Yeah, feels like medium is just 1 turn too late though. You maybe can set up a huge dig for next turn.
Yeah, I think that's what you're hoping for, is to just pull, a couple of SSLs or a few Ikawas, but Loraya is down. Loraya is now on Loraya is on -1 hand size.
Yeah, still
now.
gets the draw from the Recipca sides.
Yes, so she will get the draw from the
And it is you
Silent.
draw into Steelskin Scarring, so you can do something. But yeah, even more ice just piling on the remote. I think you might be able to draw up and just run the remote though.
I think you can, and you do have the money advantage now, so I think Loraya might just be able to pull this off.
Yeah, up to 5. Oh, even second Steelskin. And...
No way.
Going R&D archives first.
Torga.
Do we have a rumor mill in Bitabine? Yeah, we do. Just shut it down. Shut the whole thing down.
The clutch rumor mill! Oh my god. That remote is worthless now. That remote is worthless.
Yeah, just Silent Arbiter going down to 1 credit. Just has to install more stuff here. Loraya might be able to just run this.
Yeah, you can just run. You don't even need to do anything. You can just win off centrals now.
Yeah, there is an issue where Silent Arbiter ever finds the second enforced curfew. You are in a tight spot, but...
Oh yeah, you are snookered. But this is fine now for Loraya. Loraya just needs to find if she has a second copy of Medium. Just needs to find a Medium and just start running. We see the Desperado come down as well. There's another rumor mill.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's massive in this game. This remote is keeling on 5 counters in Cybernetics Division, doing absolutely nothing.
Loraya just can probably control her central servers and just sit on this rumor mill in hand.
Yeah, you can just chill on the rumor mill. I think Loraya is going to Katorga back, probably get the medium back. There's a Project Vacheron. The clock is beginning. And we're seeing a levying back the deck. Another Clan Vengeance comes down.
Yeah, here is a window for Silent Arbiter. We don't have the rumor mill anymore.
Okay,
enforced curfew getting found. Loraya has 1 turn to try to dig for it.
No way.
I think you have lines where you Faust out your cards, then hit 0 to make sure that you hit the I have what worse. Could be a line here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you have 30 cards and 3 rumor mills left in the deck still. Or 1 in the bin, but you have Katorga breakouts to still find it.
Yes,
yeah, we to do it. We just trashed this out of hand. Try to dig for it.
Katorga!
Oh, yeah, we find it. It's there. The secure savior. Enforced curfew on the top.
We have another Katorga. We have another Katorga back in our hands, so we can get this back.
Yeah, and you have.
Oh my god, this game has gone back and forth about 5 times in the space of 2
Yeah, Silent Arbiter must feel so good drawing this enforced curfew here. Like, yeah, I'm safe again. Don't worry about nothing.
What's this? 2 advanced assembly lines. So we're gonna see. Yeah, Silent needs to the cozy up centrals because this is looking. You need to stop that current from being cleared.
Yeah, but you just cannot afford an eyes on archives.
No.
And yeah, your fifth rumor mill coming back online, running the advanced assembly line server just as a flex.
Yeah, they can't. You can't pop that advanced assembly lines when that's being run.
Mm-hmm.
We have the rumor mill back, and just Larea just needs to sit tight, popping Clan
Yeah,
Vengeance
just to
now.
make sure.
Just see what's in there. And there's a Vashron. There's an Ikua in the grave or
Oh
in
yeah,
archives.
and also Spin Doctor getting silented, so opponent is now running on the clock as well.
Yeah. Silent has a clock, and Silent can't really score out.
Yeah, no
Silent
shot
does not
Silent
have
is
a
scoring
score
out
out, and we're
ever.
just seeing GG. I think Silent is just
Yeah,
gonna.
you just cannot do anything here.
Yeah, I think he's right because the Vashron's gonna tick down. Vashron from archives doesn't have the clock on it. It's 3 points away, and all Lorraine needs to do now is wait for that first Vashron to tick down, grab the Ikua, and win the game.
Yeah, and you can just hit Clan Vengeance here, just
You can just hit the
take
Clan
out
Vengeance button.
everything.
And yeah, we're just gonna have a look and see. We're gonna just grab the Ikua project now,
Yeah, and
and we
opponent
just
has
need to
one
wait.
turn here before the Vacheron actually scores out.
Yeah, I don't think Silent can do much of anything. We're just gonna break this drafter with
Run
Faust.
R&D
There's
just to be
nothing.
just to spend something on your click.
Oh my god, what a game! We do have one more turn. I don't know, but I don't know what. I think at best you can get.
You
You
just
can't even
cannot get
kill.
anything because when you pass the turn on the corpse runner side, you just
When you
lose.
pass turn, and that's it. That's GG.
Yeah.
That is GG.
Oh my god, the rumor mill is.
Rumor mill, folks. That card does work. Oh my god. Yeah, if you ever want to see why Rumor Mill is 3 points, that game there is why Rumor Mill is 3 points on the Eternal ban list. What a game. That is 3 games now. All of our games we have said, oh, this is going in one direction, and we have been completely swerved. What a week we're having so far. This has been absolutely excellent. Oh, I think I need like a minute. I need like a cigarette after that. Oh my god. Yeah, I think we got to dive in. Let's see game 2. So Larea picking up the win in her game against Silent there. Let's see what we have in play for game 2. This is another very fascinating deck from Silent. You might be thinking Andromeda, normal, regular Crim. We know that Jai has been espousing. We've seen a lot of Andromeda in the league. 4 of our players are on Andromeda. She's the most represented ID across both sides. But if you look at this hand, you might see some interesting cards. You see a Bankar in that hand. You see a Cash in this hand. Cash, if you're familiar with Coalescence, Cash is the OG Coalescence. It comes with virus counters instead of power counters, but it is the same. It's a program that basically gives you 2 credits. This is not the usual Andromeda that we are used to seeing.
Yeah, definitely utilizing this new engine. Basically just securing yourself for some kill matchups.
Yeah, I think there's some other spice in this list that I think we've seen already. I think we know what the little combo spice is here in this deck between
Yeah,
Bankar
we
and
have
Heartbeat.
seen Heartbeat already. Yeah, just getting
Yeah, so
Hunter
this is.
Seeker week 1, if I don't remember incorrectly.
You're right. We had that banger game versus Jai. So yeah, fascinating game. We're gonna see played into IG Industrial Genomics. We've seen this IG list, which is on Regenesis, and a bunch of awkward, powerful assets like bioethics and hostile infrastructure to protect your board. Yeah, a powerhouse of the format. We've seen IG in multiple different fashions. But yeah, very excited to see this Heartbeat is probably going to be put to the test here. Dealing with all the different net damage and
Yeah.
pings and stuff.
IG is very good at dealing like multiple amounts of small net damage in a turn or like continuously, which Heartbeat typically is not the best console for. Like you will just run out of installables at some point. But we have cards that come back like crowdfunding. Could cause issues here for Larea.
And we have cash, these throwaway disposable programs. So yeah, I think we're in for a really interesting game here. So let's dive in. And we see here, this is a great hand from Andromeda. All Andromeda hands are pretty great, but this one we have Account Siphon, we have crowdfunding, we have Tapworm, we have a class act to refill. Like this is gas.
Andromeda's ability is so easy to underrate. Like, yeah, you draw 4 extra cards at the start of the game, but the start of the game is kind of the most important turns in the game every time.
Yeah, like, it's ridiculous.
I'm lowering the volume on this match a bit. So,
no worries.
So I think OpenHQ, I think Account Siphon, just line it up.
Yeah.
Send it in.
Here we go. We're seeing a cohort, but that's probably getting trashed.
Yeah, doesn't mean anything here.
And yeah, we're just gonna see server 1. Yeah, you just run server 1, and I think you probably just drop the Tapworm.
On Corp of 0 credits doesn't really feel good, but yeah, you just want it on the table to be ready.
Yeah, I think you just get it on the table. And our players just double checking that the game's being recorded. The joys of this league format. And yeah, we're gonna see, I think, cash come down. We could see these 2 caches being dropped as well. But yeah, we're just seeing cash followed by class act to refill the hand.
It does make sense. Probably you don't need your Tapworm yet, so you can just like wait a bit on it.
And we're seeing another Account Siphon and a crowdfunding as well. This is the dream start. Although with the way tonight has gone,
you better not get ready yet.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Yes. Andromeda installing an Andromeda basically. German hero.
Oh yeah.
Pretty hard to trash.
Yeah, that's not getting trashed. But if Larea is able to trash it, we're in for a good time. We see a Quandary.
Quandary, yeah. One credit to rest, so not getting in there.
Yeah, this is a really awkward card to deal with. It's 1 credit. It has no strength. It says end the run, and it's a code gate.
Yeah, just forcing you to install the breaker kinda sucks, especially in Criminal where you kinda have limited tools maybe to get into servers with ice here.
We're seeing this is a combo that people. We're seeing a bioethics. That's a pretty clutch card.
Yeah, I think you're happy to pay 4 credits to trash it. Yeah.
Pretty happily, especially because you are getting these 2 crowdfundings back. If you're not familiar with this interaction, if you have crowdfundings in hand and you make your 3 successful runs and you discard the hand size, you get those crowdfundings back.
Yeah. It feels so good when you hit it.
Yeah, it feels great. It's like I have all these still in my hand, and I've got these crowdfundings, but we're seeing Rashida.
Yeah, Rashida.
She's good in Standard. She's still good in Eternal, it turns out.
Who could have guessed?
Who could have guessed that Rashida is good in Eternal? And Yellow Ray just continuing to build a board. It's weird to see all these all this ice being played.
Shibboleth. Yeah, that lets you in there.
Yeah, that Quandary says goodbye. Quandary does not care, or Quandary cares very much about a Shibboleth. A Shibboleth just gonna let you breeze into that server and see what Larea is cooking. You know that Larea is on Regenesis as well. yeah, I think you want to be kind of checking these remotes pretty aggressively to make sure we don't see a 4-point agenda getting scored.
Yeah, feel like it. You hit the account 7 here, make sure that your opponent cannot
Oh,
go
a
and
little,
score it next turn.
little tab out there.
Gotta switch the Spotify playlist. Yeah, Dressing German Hero just duck down the account siphon credits.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's still 8 credits of trash. And so I'm just going for the breach, saying
Yeah, I
keep
mean,
the credit.
1 credit doesn't really matter for you, and you just want to take the access. And getting those bioethic associations out of hand is so sick. When
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
huge. You
have
want
to
to
actually
stop these
deal
kind
with
of
those
net
on the
damage
table.
things when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chairman Hero on the table is really frustrating for Larea, but or for Silent rather. But if Silent is able to get a big enough money base or clear this the archives, Chairman Hero is an easy 2 points.
Yeah, I feel like we can, especially on the term crowdfunding is trash, you probably might be able to see that going.
And we also have a class act as well, so you can drop class act and then
Yeah,
run archives.
then run
provided the corp
archives,
is not-
go after German Hero.
Yeah. Now you could have the corp running something like Malia
Oh
to
yeah,
blank
that
it,
could be.
but
No, just
no.
Cohort Guidance Program. Cohort Guidance Program also an excellent card in getting this face downs in archives actually.
Oh, it's in. I saw this card spoiled and I immediately said, I was immediately like, this is going into Eternal IG. This is busted. This is absolutely busted. And we see here Larea dumping the hand, but finding Silent managing to find Heartbeat. I think we know that there's a bioethics there was a bioethics in hand, I think.
I
So one of these, I
we
think,
might
is
have trashed it. Not actually sure,
we
but yeah,
trash
just
it?
going archives here. You have stuff to throw out, so you don't actually mind the damage too much.
Yeah, if you get hit with a shock or whatever, you can just throw away these caches and it's completely fine for you, I think.
Also, not sure how Breach Dome interacts with this Heartbeat.
That's an excellent question. I think
access to 1 damage
no,
and
so
trash, so yeah, you actually still
yeah,
trash the top card of the hand.
but
I think.
that's pretty fine
Oh,
because
trashing trashing crowdfunding from top of the deck. Not probably minding
yeah,
that 1 bit here.
no, not at all. And this Chairman Hero is still untrashable. It's still a 6 to trash,
Yeah.
to trash asset. Unfortunately, Silent doesn't have something like a stim hack, but we do have a cash in hand, so we can basically click for 2 credits, which will let you get in and trash the Chairman Hero.
Yeah,
but I think you're kind of hoping the rest of the board is. Yeah, I think you're hoping the rest of the board is okay.
Yeah, you're kind of weak at the upcoming turn, but straight afterwards you get your crowdfunding back online and start dripping up. So Lara just needs to capitalize in this situation here.
Yeah, I think Silent needs to find a way of... Now, you can just run a bunch of these empty remotes or centrals. IG doesn't typically play a ton of, like, traps. It does have Breach Dome and Shocks as ambushes, but it's not packing something or it's not packing, traps like that in R&D, so you can just run central a bunch pretty safely.
R&D hitting hostile infrastructure makes sense. And yeah, just check these remotes, make sure that no agendas are getting sneaked through.
Yeah.
Bioethics, you hate to see that there, but you can't do anything about it yet.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to live with it.
Shock on table, yeah. Table shock.
The cheeky table shock.
Yeah, you really cannot afford to take this damage while Bug Altar is in hand.
Yeah, but I think you do have Banghar. I think the deck is on Levy as well, so I think you can afford to. Sorry, excuse me. I think you can afford to just I don't think you need to worry about breakers a huge ton.
Oh, and Bunker instantly card getting hit somehow.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna see if you do actually need breakers. We're gonna see how right I am. This could be a Regenesis as well. But actually, no, sorry, it can't be because Cohort turns off Regenesis.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, so no Regenesis push here, but Archive's getting folded right back up.
And genotyping
Um,
just fills up R&D archives as much as you can also.
yeah, and it lets you get back stuff like your bioethics if you're running bio level clearance. It lets you do that. Um, but we're actually shuffling back an unseen card, so we're not. Ooh,
Advance!
what is that? Is that a Regenesis? Is it a clearinghouse?
Pre-advancing regions feels kind of wonky, so I would assume it's either like a bigger agenda, just to make your opponent like waste time here. Although opponent is
Yeah,
already on 3 points, so it's tough here.
see, dropping the enforced curfew. This doesn't. I feel like it's not an agenda because the enforced
Yeah,
curfew. If it's an agenda, playing the enforced curfew doesn't make sense. So I think it's something like a clearinghouse.
yeah, that definitely could be it. Drawing up. Finding our counter current, so could turn it off. But they are silent, just drawing 4, just to make sure if it's Obokata that you can actually clear it off.
You can, but yeah, it's that clearinghouse. So now that's not getting blown up anytime soon. That is currently trashing for 6. So yeah, I think Silent is just kind of and it's
Yeah,
gone
and
up
I think
again,
the
up to
trash cost
7
was
now.
up to like 7 credits already, so...
That's Silent having to just, or Larea happy to just keep advancing
Yeah,
it.
even more after this wild level clearance. Pitches 7 cards down, face down in archives, so that's a costly trash. But I think you can do like dirt around R&D into run this remote, but then again you're in the credit hole again
Yeah,
here.
and you can't get into the credit hole versus IG. Now you can clear the current, which does stop you, which does kind of give you a little bit more time. Um, an
Oh,
important
Kakurenbo, yeah, that feels so
oh
bad. Like, no Corp has the chance to just turn the all of archives back down again.
yeah, Kakarembo don't see it much in standard, but in Eternal, in this deck specifically, it's nasty. It's
Yes,
super nasty.
drawing last click, just wanting to find even more tools. And I think next turn we have to take care of this clearinghouse here.
Yeah, it's important. A big one to know about this matchup. Cohort guidance program and clearinghouse work by you can use cohort guidance program to put a counter on clearinghouse and then fire clearinghouse. So clearinghouse always does kind of an extra point of damage.
Oh,
Um,
true.
yeah, so Larea can actually kill in this board state now. Heartbeat,
Technically, without heartbeat being installed.
yeah, Heartbeat is doing a lot of work here, but Larea, that will just wipe the runner's board if Silent decides to prevent the damage, and we see Silent just going, yeah, Kakarumbo seems fine. Seems probably just loving the fact that he is going to see Kakarembo flip Archives face down, make this clearinghouse completely untrashable.
Oh,
And
genotyping
then
first also, yeah. Archives
and
basically
get
having
something back.
like 6 points of damage, possibly. Yeah, combination
Yeah, there's
of shock
something
and...
ridiculous in there. There's at least there's 2 breach domes and a shock. Um,
Basic action card to trash Aron Maroon makes sense. You just want to get rid of that if when you can.
yeah, because that's such a good anti-kill
Yeah,
piece.
11 cards face down in archives. This pile in archives just increasing and increasing here. And the
Yeah, the
trash
important
cost
thing
for the clearinghouse just increasing and increasing at the same time.
now you can. I think that what you can do is so Silent can run Archives. The most damage Archives will do to you is 6 because the 3 breach dome, 3 shock. Now you do have stuff like Fuji.
12 credits of trash.
12 credits.
Yeah, that interface seems is so not fun to look at. Like 13 credits of trash or anything.
That's an unpleasant trash cost for bioethics.
And this Glenn just cooking up here even still.
Yeah, I think you're just happy to. it's weird because, well, actually, those 3 runs basically say like prevent 3 damage.
Hmm.
You get your crowdfundings back, which you can just like pull out, like throw away.
Yeah, this clearinghouse not
Um,
really threatening kill here. Probably, I think, feels like Clara just has to wait on it.
yeah, I think you just need to wait and make a big clearinghouse. Oh, and Lorraine is just okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of our
not
players,
turning
there's
up
just
a
a
card here.
witness click. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think Lorraine. I think at this point, I think you're happy to you can either cack a Renbo.
Hmm.
If you have a second clearinghouse, I don't think the IG list typically run two. They usually only run one as like a credit sink to turn on Bladderwort. We see Jai, one of the competitors, joining in as a spectator when this game was recorded. But and yeah, I think at this point now, you're as the corp. I think you'd be happy to just like triple advance clearinghouse.
Yeah, just make your opponent interact with you.
Jai saying he is scouting. um, Scouting for his bye week and the last scouting during a week where he's not playing. Relation.
Oh no!
Huge draw from Silent.
Yeah,
Huge draw.
Silent probably just drawing for this, like, based on the chat
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, you just slammed that run server 2.
Yeah, just yum, just eat it up.
And the race is like, oh
Oh,
no. Yeah.
Yeah, cannot feel good here.
And there you go. That's it.
Yeah, you spent five clicks and credits on this. I'll just take it.
And we see a Bladderwort, an untrashable Bladderwort. You may have 16 credits, but that is untrashable. And that Bladderwort's also not doing anything right
Yeah,
now.
it's a cheaper pet campaign. Still has to
The
prevent
Silent's
1
not
damage.
completely out. We need to, because you need to worry about Silent can still, get decked out, can get ground out. There are forks available to the corp.
Oh, losing same old thingy. So you just have to be really careful not to lose your levy off the top into a bridge dome or something. But yeah, Lorette just running 6 cards left in the deck. 4 coming back after genotyping. Always forget the numbers on that.
Yeah, so you're still going to go up, so you're not at risk of decking out, but the deck, like, Silent is in a position where he can just run every remote, and doesn't need to worry too much about like getting pinged for damage or whatever. So he can just stop the Regenesis from giving Larea a score out option.
Yeah.
Bladderwort.
Interesting
Again,
line from Lara. Lara manually clicking, removing a crowdfunding just to duck tap worm, make sure Silent gets less credits. Basically, waste a click here.
But this is another huge draw. You slam this compilation.
Yeah, second one. That's
run
so
bioethics,
tough.
and now you're just chilling. You don't need to do anything now. You can just grab this bioethics. The rest of this board does nothing. Larea is going to eventually run out of cards and but Silent instead going for.
That's maybe tough steal.
That's. It puts you to 6 points, and this steal is great for Larea. Normally, bacteria programming, you're happy to see go, get that on steal trigger, but
in this situation, I'm not sure if you still have any tools here.
Yeah, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you have left to do. So we could be in for a bit of a resolution here, but
it feels like the beginning of the end here, yeah. And we get this bacterial 40-minute thing. Let's go.
Yeah, you have some experience with dreaming bacterial triggers.
Yeah, and I'm a known bacterial stream enjoyer.
Yeah.
Everybody can imagine the Monty Hill music starting up here.
Yeah, we'll just spin up a quick game. We'll start the next game. We'll actually start watching the next game now. While we wait. Yeah, taking some time, but we've resolved. So we're just seeing 1 card go to archives. Nothing HQ in the top 6 getting rearranged. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what could be left. And chat calling out there's probably points in archives. I think there is as well.
Yeah, it's still like you don't have to run there. You just can wait it out. Like,
You can just wait.
yeah, if you don't have
You
to
can
interact, you
chill.
can just wait. You can like install 3 crowdfundings just every turn and just
You can just
vibe here.
install 3 archives, prevent 3 damage.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like you don't have a Lorraine doesn't have a reliable scoring plan here.
yeah, definitely not like
And yeah, one of the
refusing to zoom
crowdfunding
out here.
showing. Yeah,
Biotech is
there's
oh,
bioethics. I think you
second
just cup this.
Biotechs. You can just join it and continue your life.
Yeah, I think you just cup this. You could also like, in theory, you probably don't have enough. The corp doesn't have enough points for Spin or Jackson,
Hmm.
so you could actually burn one of these cubs because we're down some recursion. The genotypings are gone, so you could actually just legwork HQ, just sweep HQ if you wanted, and then levy them back to like cup things
Yeah,
again. But yeah, it's just
I feel like
I
that's
think you just
yeah
cup
that
this.
joins up back in the like when you're winning, why like just don't lose gameplay.
Yeah, silent is purely in just don't lose.
Yeah,
Um, I think silent. Uh, oh, silent mentioning healing, so that's what he's saving for his compilation, which makes
mm.
a lot of sense. I think.
Yeah, there it
Hey.
is.
Getting the
Yeah,
soul read.
that's good.
um, yeah, I think now Silent, now after dealing with Keeling, is able to just actually kill this bioethics.
Yeah, just
Or no,
chill
just
out
actually
here.
yeah, just chill, get your crowdfundings back.
Yeah, basically, like you'd have to just
Um,
discard 2 crowdfundings here, and next turn you can draw run again and get 3 back.
that's so sick. So sick. And yeah, Lorraine's just declining the cohort trigger. There's no point now.
Yeah,
And
and
we see the
conceding makes
concession.
sense.
That's GG. Weird game. Very, very weird game. And again, another one where it looked like Larea had like a good lock
Hmm.
in place, was able to get some like annoying assets. It looked like that clearinghouse was going to do work, but the compilation jumping in, say, at the last second.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
the real game winner here was the account from turn one. Like, just get 15 credits of
Huge.
swing early on, allowing you to have time to actually get into your engine, like get your crowdfundings into circulation, get your heartbeat online, and then you can just control the game like this. You just first have to get there.
Yeah, this was just a really really good performance of just like Crim just controlling a game plan. You're applying this lock, applying this like pressure to the corp, this pressure, and then just like slowly and slowly just finding ways to grind them out and to lock them out of the game.
Hmm.
Yeah, really really well played there. Really really well played to both players in that match. Silent getting the win back. Both these players picking up a win in this one. Really, really, I've been loving the game so far. We've had
Yeah,
a banger
100%.
week. This has been really, really great. I believe now, I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a commentator change.
Yeah, I'm jumping in the chat, in the chat,
Yeah.
going into Typerstorm, and I'm letting some real eternal knowers get on the commentary.
Yeah, we're gonna have a return from last week, I believe. The wonderful darling Cobra Bubbles will be joining me in the commentary booth now. One of the, as Andre dubbed them, the Falcons of Eternal. The one of the brains behind the Infinite Deva, or the Infinite Money Deva combo. I'm joined in the booth now by Cobra Bubbles. Cobra, how are you doing?
Good evening, Anarko. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. Pleasure as always.
Absolutely, it would be delightful to have you. What have you managed to catch the game so far?
Yeah, I have some dramatic games. Very, very entertaining. I thought I'll just put on the ESN in the background while I fight this boss in Nine Souls, and then I kept dying to the boss because I kept having to look up all the crazy stuff that was happening in the Eternal games. So yeah, good. 2 thumbs up from me.
Well,
Good game so
what a
far.
what a ringing endorsement we have. Um, yeah. we've had some great games, some really just like complete swerves. We predicted games, they've gone in complete different directions. So yeah, great game so far. Let us keep going. We have Ren and Ysengrin coming up next. Ren, we'll be seeing this from Ren's POV first. So Ren is piloting Andromeda. And I think this is a slightly more regular version of Andromeda. It's playing the usual Crim Breaker Suite, good cards. I think, but I am looking at this opening hand and I'm seeing a Plascrete and I'm seeing not E-Strike as the card of choice. So potentially not a reg game plan. Could be something like Banghar Heartbeat. Could be seeing something like Au Revoir Snitch as well. Yeah, interesting choice to not go for the E-Strike, the more common kind of current these Andromeda decks.
Yeah, from my memory from previous weeks, this is a fairly reg Andy. It's not doing heartbeat things. There is a Desperado in the opening hand, as we see as well. So could
Oh, true
yeah, I
enough.
think it's fairly reg, but clearly choosing to spend points on things other than E-Strike, and we'll see what those are. I assume there's account siphons in here somewhere. Maybe Temi J or something else, another point intensive card potentially.
Temi J is another good option. Yeah, could be what's keeping out these E-Strikes. And on the flip side, we see Ysengrin, another very well-known name in the Netrunner community. Big Eternal player, a big Eternal specialist, playing an ID that he has had a lot of success with, and has piloted a lot. Cerebral Imaging. We've seen Ysengrin show off this deck. This is the 7-point scoring deck, or kind of not quite 7 points in one turn, but certainly 5. We kind of see these sort of like 2+5 kind of combo, CI combo decks.
Yeah, I would believe that the deck is capable of scoring 7 in one turn, but usually the runner has some kind of tech that makes it difficult to do that, or even is just keeping your credits too low to invest in playing a multiple biotic turn, for example. The 2+5 is a more usual route, I think.
Yeah, I think it's possible to do the whole 7-point combo if you have like the draw with enough biotics and operations and stuff, and you have wage workers Jeeves. But I think the issue is more like that's irregular. You don't have things like power shutdown into accelerated diagnostics to turbo the combo. So I think Jeff has said before that scoring an FCOM first makes your combo turn much easier. Then lets you score the 5 points pretty easily. So yeah, interesting matchup. I think Andy has the tools, if she can find those account siphons early, has the tools to kind of disrupt the CI deck. But we will see now how Andromeda is able to tackle Cerebral Imaging in Eternal. And yeah, this looks like a pretty good hand from Andy. Most Andy hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't like it though, sending it back.
No. But this hand is also pretty decent. And just seeing Jackson Howard into Violet level clearance, 2 powerful plays, and an open HQ. Jeff saying, siphon me. I'm fine with that. Either I'm fine with that, or my deck has denied me. I need the ability to ice HQ.
Yeah, I didn't see whether Jeff mulliganed or not. Usually you'd mulligan for that HQ ice, so it seems like we missed it and got away with not getting siphon punished.
Yeah, and we're seeing draw. This is not great, but we're bailed out by a YDL here. But yeah, not a ton of gas here for Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, so long as the siphon doesn't show up this turn either, you feel okay about this YDL start, I think. And the runner playing the Corporate Grant proactively here, which doesn't do a ton against your deck. There'll be a lot of turns where you actually just don't install any cards. So the 1 credit tax on your first install isn't going to matter too much when your game plan basically rolls around having 2 turns on which you install a ton of cards and then the game's over.
Yeah. Jeff now finding his first clearance. Yeah, the first kind of clearance effect, getting the VLC back as well. So Jeff has that ice on HQ, but like is pretty siphon proof now at this point. see Ren just checking the chat log just to see the turn. And yeah, we're seeing just having a quick check of what the text of Gatekeeper is. We're seeing Doof into pad tap, so not a ton going on for Ren here. It was a good start, but we've seen a little bit of just a slight slowing down of their game now.
Yeah, slightly surprised to not see a Desperado come down just yet.
You've made a few runs at this point now. I think we've started making some profit out of the Desperado, so I don't know, maybe just hoping to just play very, very aggressively, not waste any clicks, because you know that CI can combo out. And Jeff, taking time here, I think we could be looking at a combo here. We could be looking at some points scored. Yeah,
Yep, we have
that's coming out.
thinking has been called.
The thinking has been called, and the thinking usually leads to some amount of points getting scored here. So Jeff, looking at a grip of 17 cards in hand, that's a lot, and there's a lot that can be in those 17 cards.
Yeah, this is where the rarely these days rarely used little plus button next to the HQ interface, as it were, on JNet. Very useful. You can expand your own hand. If people didn't know this on JNet, it's a thing I had forgotten until I started playing CI in Eternal again. You can upscale the size of your hand to see all the cards in it more easily when you have a hand of, for example, 17 cards. Very useful.
Yeah, this is
I'm
a
sure
button.
Jeff is making use of that.
This is basically the CI button.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. We're just going to
Drawing up.
Jackson draw 4.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackson just draw 4. Maybe just looking for, maybe he's missing just like one piece of the combo and just happy to just draw gas. Forcing the res.
Yeah, we see the res here. I was wondering if Jeff was did the math on the combo and decided that it would take him too low on credits to be viable, and then you're at risk of getting punished by maybe you're forced to res on HQ as well, and you end up with quite a low hand size. This is the downside of playing a CI with combos that don't end the game, where if you're doing something credit intensive that you have to keep playing, then you have to also have a credit buffer that keeps your hand size up.
Yeah, and you're already down a YDL as well, so that bounce back that you can kind of have to kind of build up your hand size again or to like keep it going is there's one of those already out of the game. But I think Jeff is making a move here. We see a shipment from Mirror Morph, click 1, a little undo there, so maybe not. Oh no, we're seeing a shipment. This usually means it's go time for some part of the combo.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not entirely familiar with how many credits the full 7-point would cost. My guess is it's more than the 16 that Jeff has right now. So we're probably not winning the game here, but he's the master.
I think it might actually be exact C's. I think it might be, or roughly. Really? Yeah, I think that the 7-point version, I think, might be around 14 or 15. I'm not quite sure, but we're seeing Wage Workers and a Biotic, and we have 4 clicks now, so... Okay, we might be slowing down. This looks like it could be an FCOM.
Do we unload the FCOM now is the question. Yeah,
we are.
We are, which conveniently with Wage Workers, because so Efficiency Committee, as people may know, lets you spend a click to gain 2 clicks, but you can't advance cards for the rest of the turn. And you have 3 opportunities to use that ability, and then if you use that ability 3 times, Wage Workers gives you a bonus click, which you can use to advance cards. Is that right? No, that isn't how that works.
No, anyway, but you can use things like Business as Usual or from Kaguya to get counters on cards, followed by Shipment from Sansan. That's GG. That's just game.
Looks like a 5-3. Yeah, there we go. Found the 7.
And that is 7-point CI.
Nice. Yeah, shows what I know. That was nice and smooth. 5 credits left over at the end.
Yeah, so I think Jeff started with 17 credits. So yeah. 12 is the magic number, I guess. Yeah, really, I love this CI deck. I love CI7. Really, really cool. I love watching CI7 goes up. Jeff has been playing this deck for a while. I love watching Jeff play it. It's always really interesting. If you ever want to see, if you ever have a few minutes and you want to see what CI can do, the old CI puzzle threads on the old StimHack forums, you get to see stuff like this. People comboing through tech and stuff and finding these lines. Really clean play from Jeff there. Really, really well played. Well done finding that combo line. Wage Workers. It's a good card.
Yeah, and just really showing how like this CI sometimes we had some games last week where CI did not look resilient to disruption, particularly to account siphon. But this in this game we see that just sometimes speed is resilience in itself. If the runner just doesn't have a way through a gatekeeper to siphon you, and you score out on what was that, turn 4, turn 5?
I think it was turn 5. I think.
Yeah, then that's all the tech you need sometimes.
Absolutely. So Jeff picking up the first game of this match, we're going to see the return now. ESA versus Ob. Jeff has been playing this ESA deck for I think the last year or so, and I know he's been a big proponent of this sort of breakerless ESA that uses Clan Vengeance, the ESA ability, and just tries to mill and disrupt and stop the corp from getting through or from enacting their game plan, and then uses the combination of DDoS and Banghar to get into servers without needing the use of a breaker. Really, really cool deck. Can't steal an SDS, which we saw was an issue versus Scorp, and I think could be an issue versus this combo Obelisk as well. Weird matchup.
Not having any programs at all has some weird implications, although it does have the bonus of this inject we see in the middle of the hand here just being a 1 credit draw 4. Guarantee is very powerful. But yeah, against Ob, so this Ob is Rand's Rococo Ob.
Yeah.
Which does things with Rococo and Drago, which people may remember. This combo was at one point legal in Standard, and Rococo was legal in Standard as recently as this time last year. So people may remember some of the shenanigans you can do with Ob by moving advancement counters onto a card as you install it. And then we're trying to use tag-based kill options to end the game off of a little combo that way. But yeah, really interested to see how this plays out. Generally, Ob struggles a bit against ESA because if you're losing cards to sabotage, sometimes those are cards that you were hoping to search for with your ID ability, so that can make things tricky.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, and I think this object as well, I think has the potential to combo kill on turn 1 of the game, so the runner has not gotten to take an action.
Wow.
But I think I think you can use red level clearance to clicklessly install a Drago, which you can then use to, if you go double Daddy, you can high profile target them turn 1.
That's right.
We're just seeing I think a draw hedge fund install, pretty tame start, but here's Rumor Mill that the boogeyman, the boogie current of the format, trashing this Rashida. I don't know if you needed to trash the Rashida there thanks to the Rumor Mill.
Now this is interesting. We're just going install advance on, I mean, presumably not Drago because he'd be blank.
He'd be blank. I think this is an SDS.
It could be an SDS push. That would be really entertaining. Just learning the lesson from last week's game that you can just score SDSs and win that way. There it is. Okay, another SDS game. Excellent. It's going to be a treat, folks.
I think Ren knows that the disruption that Jeff has in his deck, he's running Clan Vengeances, he has Sabotage. Ren is on a bit of a clock here, so I think they know that just to push these SDSs because they are completely safe. They are unsteerable for Jeff, and just trying to win like that.
And as a bonus, that clears the Rumor Mill. So
it clears the Rumor Mill.
Start getting back up to Ob things here. Although Jeff is going to blast through this stack pretty quick, so we could see more Rumor Mills on the way. Yeah,
Jeff burns through this deck really, really consistently. There's a ton of card draw from the ESA ability. You have things like Steel Skin and I've Had Worse. And we're seeing the high profile target in hand, so we know at least one of the combo pieces is there. It might be, and we see it again. Yeah, I think Jeff can just burn through this stack and find rumor mills and other pieces of disruption. So Ren very much on a clock here. Just install Ice the Remote. While Jeff currently has no way to get in, but there's DDoS.
Yeah, the big 2-pointer card there, letting you or preventing the corp from resing this ice at all, which not only means they can't keep you out, but also means it's not available to get obbed later and getting rid of that
Yeah.
Drago. Nice play
And
there.
killing the Drago, which is a huge turn for Jeff.
Yeah, so we see one of the key parts of Jeff's engine came down earlier, which is the titanium ribs, which lets him choose which cards he loses to damage whenever he takes damage. So right now, for example, playing a running hot, you choose to lose your strike front to core damage. And there's 2 credits to get that ESA trigger, feels pretty good. But it also has the interesting element, given that this is actually a damage matchup, that if the corp goes for a multi-part kill, for example, with multiple Scorched Earths, then you can guarantee that your Steel Skins and I've had worses are going to get hit by the first one.
Yeah, it's
so
really
it can
weird.
be pretty hard to kill you.
Yeah, the high profile target is kind of the more reliable kill because it does it all in one huge batch. But if I know this deck I think is on Scorched Earth, so I think it's on Scorched Earth and End of the Line. But we're seeing a scarcity come down, clearing the rumor mill.
Yeah, more of that hot counter-current gameplay.
We love it, so we do. I think Rumor Mill definitely one of the cards Warlock is considering dealing with in some capacity in the points list update that he's currently testing for, or that the Eternal playtesters are testing for. But we're seeing here running this server 3, Ren using the Spin Doctor now in case Jeff has that third copy of Rumor Mill, which he did. And yeah,
that was actually same old thinged back from the heap there.
Oh, same old thinged.
So spending the full 2 clicks, but just pinning that Spin Doctor to the board to get trashed, and then we're going to leave a blank Rashida Jaheim on top. That's going to feel like a pretty sad thing to draw for Ren here.
Yeah, that Rashida doing absolutely nothing, but I think this is another STS.
Yeah, seems that way. Yeah, but just if that's your plan B, it's kind of a good one in the matchup.
Yeah, it's surprisingly nifty. It gives you outs to these like currents, these very heavily disruptive currents, and just gives you gives you an actual win path if you can't get through with the titanium ribs. And there's enough core damage being done that Jeff, I think, can be killed. Yeah, he's on 3 hand size. He's on 2 hand size now.
He has found that immediately proving me wrong when I said this was uninteractable. We found the card that interacts with it. It's like the fire. Just wipe out STS. Jeff can't steal it from archives, but at least it means that Ren can't score it.
Jeff's play of this deck, for a deck that can't steal SDS, we've seen it now twice, 2 weeks in a row. We've seen him play against SDS, and the inability to steal it not be an issue.
Yeah, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, this deck is just really cool. I love watching Jeff play this this list. It's a weird one. It doesn't play like a normal Netrunner deck does. There's some really interesting and unintuitive lines, but yeah, I think Jeff plays this really, really well, and we're just seeing Jeff now controlling the board. We saw a Clan Vengeance pop for disruption, and already R&D. There's 17 cards left. Archives is very, very full. Jeff, I think, firmly looking very, very safe at the minute.
Just gonna check HQ here, trying to find some of the agendas that might have piled up, as Ren's had to draw quite a lot since the Clan Vengeance fire. I'm really thinking about whether to play this running hot and trash a Rumor Mill out of hand. It's obviously a very valuable card, but just want to get those thing. Just got those clicks.
Yeah, I think with same old thing, you're pretty okay, and just popping the DDoS. Was that a DDoS pop, or did it just get trashed to core? No, I think it was a DDoS pop.
It was popped. It was popped this turn, yeah. And we do find agenda here. I'm gonna poke archives maybe to find some more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. So we have the unstealable SDS, and there is an NAPD contract. So now Jeff just needs to find any old agenda.
There it is.
There it is. There is 3 points
off the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be that easy. Yeah, once again, SDS is not proving to be an issue for Jeff because you just work around that. And yeah, Ren saying in the chat, Rumor Mill just completely taken. That's kind of the dominant storyline of a lot of games is Rumor Mill, and just how warping that card is. There's so many cards that you don't realize what it hits, and then you see it in games, and just the effect it has. Rashida's, Spin Doctor, Drago, just a hugely warping card.
Yeah, it's a tough one to play against. Although I do think, from a spectator's point of view, Jeff's build of the Clan Vengeance Rumor Mill Anarch deck is a little more kind of entertaining and kind of explosive in a way. It's running a lot. It's doing a lot of self damage. You know, we saw in that game, Jeff never drew the Brain Cage to increase his hand size, so he was at one hand size at the end of the game. You know, he is kind of taking his life into his hands there with the way he's playing that deck. Whereas if you compare to Augustus's Wizard, for example, that was on stream earlier, which tends to just set up the Clan Vengeance, set up the Rumor Mill, and kind of just sit there and deal with remotes and let the corp kind of bleed to death. As I just, gets busy killing or gets busy dying.
Yeah, this house deck is really cool. I think Jeff has come up with a really interesting brew here. Just the disruption. I think he was saying in chat, I think last week, that Clan Vengeance for him isn't something that he wants to fire off when he gets max value out of it. He just wants to fire it off as frequently as possible, just to disrupt, play very, very aggressively, stop the corp from being able to do anything efficiently. And yeah, just a really aggressive deck, but one I think that has certainly caught my eye in the Eternal format, and with the way Jeff plays it as well, it's really interesting going very low on credit totals. Doesn't look like you have an immediate or obvious answer to ice breaking solutions, but actually with DDoS, Banghar, you actually have a ton of flexibility. So yeah, well done to Jeff, picking up 2 wins. He now goes to 4-2. So putting him, I think, tied now with Augustus at the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, great games. But we move into our last match of the night, of 15-15 versus Haver of Fun of 15, coming off of a bye week, round 1. So they are a game behind most of the rest of the league. Axel also calling out 2 very fast games. He might get to go to sleep soon. Yeah, we're breezing through it this week. We've had some pretty fast, explosive games. For Axel's cheap schedule, long may that continue. And we're seeing Andy versus IG. This Andy list looks very, very regular. Blue Moose, Account Siphon, Money and Breakers. It's normal Netrunner, but doing very, very powerful things, albeit.
Yeah, I believe this Andy is also on Heartbeat.
Oh, is it?
But it's playing it more as a pure tech card, so it's not. We're not seeing copies of Cash, for example, on those cards that Silent Arbiter was playing to give you extra hit points. And I don't think it has the Bancar either to go with the Heartbeat. I think it's just purely playing Heartbeat as I install this card, and now if the corp wants to kill me, they have to find another 4 or 5 damage. So it probably won't kind of take over the game in the same way as it did when we saw a similar matchup earlier in the stream. But yeah, still a relevant inclusion. And yeah, this is still Andy. We still see Account Siphon, Bravado, Blue Moose, a lot of the most powerful cards in the format. So
yeah, I don't think money's going to be an issue here. And off 15 on IG, I believe this is this Power Shutdown IG, I think.
No, I don't remember my notes. I think this one is similar again to the one we saw before.
Okay.
Being the Regenesis deck with the kill plan. But I might be misremembering that, so we'll see.
We'll see anyway. You can tell pretty quickly which copy of, or which version of IG you're playing against, whether it's Power Shutdown or whether it is more asset-based kill. And this opening hand from Andy is just great. You have Disruption in Account Siphon, you have long-term Econ in Blue Moose, you have Burst in Bravado and Sure Gamble. The Bravados don't get a ton of use in the asset-based IG decks. Those decks typically play only about sort of like 3 to 6 ice. But this bankroll would be pretty massive.
Yeah, bankroll's really nice. And I mean, just like in Standard with Bravado and Doof, you're really incentivized to mulligan for that HQ ice against Criminal to deal with the credit drain effects, and then if they slap down HKIs on turn 1, then you just get to play your bravados and get the value. So we did see a mulligan here, though.
Yeah.
Get rid of that against off it.
Interesting mulligan choice. It looked pretty clean, and we see Haverfun mentioning that they're looking to get out of the relegation part of the table. Yes, the bottom three are in a dicey position in terms of their return for season 2, but for now we're still only in week 3. There's still 6 weeks left after this, and yes, players are having a little chat about end of phase 1 last week with their decks currently, and changes that they might be making, but we're off to the races. IG versus Andromeda, our final match of the night. I'm very interested to see what I am curious as to why Haverfun mulligan that hand. It looked really, really strong.
That's what I was just wondering. Yeah, I wonder if it's just really valuing that heartbeat, maybe just wanting to get the tech piece down.
Possibly
against what is very likely a kill deck of some kind, or at least the deck with damage.
Yeah, and I feel like looking at this start from IG, like an account side from here would be quite strong. They do have some like duck ability, but yeah, Alex is just obviously really, really likes this heartbeat, and we see a Bladderwort. A Bladderwort that will fire this turn guaranteed. I think you're happy to just take 1 net damage here, and Alex saying, yeah, just taking a net damage off this Bladderwort.
We're quite pleased that didn't hit either of our resources there. The Moose and the Class Act are going to give us some long-term ability to sort of clicklessly proceed through the game and develop our resources. It's going to be important if we're going to be contesting this pretty aggressive asset-heavy start from IG.
Yeah, like it was a slow turn 1, but this turn 2 now is much more explosive. We saw an overinstall as well in server 1, so probably could be a piece of an asset that you're just not interested in. Could have been an agenda as well for this Regenesis if it's on Regenesis. Could also just be fueling up archives, but this.
Wow,
this
yeah,
is okay.
Oof,
big start from Op 15. 2 pings of net damage and a Rashida fire, and Alex in a bit of a credit hole now on just 1 credit, and losing the Blue Moose as well.
Took a really kind of click and efficient line in a way to just get that Bladderwort down as a priority.
Yeah,
and for some credits, which is, if that was the only good threat on the board, potentially a good line, but really not paying off here because over 15 had just kind of the nuts of that asset start with 3 of the best assets going.
This account side for now is also just not looking particularly impactful because it's just going to end up turning on the IG ability. And yeah, I think Alex just saying I need to run archives. I need to turn off this corp text. But
okay, we see an agenda.
Yeah, we do see a feature perfect.
Taking some damage here potentially, probably soaking one of these breach dome damage with your crowdfunding.
Yes,
lose the unity off the top.
Might be rough. We'll see if we're seeing like quandaries. This could be a push behind quandary game, but you do have turtles as well, so you're not too worried. And this feature perfect in archives. There is an interesting decision. Do you try and play the side game, or do you just say I'm going to vamp the corp every time I hit archives?
Yeah, I mean, IG is probably okay with that exchange because you're also taking 2 damage and 2 mil every time. So
yeah, with the double breach dome.
That future perfect is probably just going to sit there until over 15 removes it, or Alex wants to take it for the win.
Yeah, and we've done all that to clear a bioethics, but there's just another bioethics on board. Now the Bladderwort thankfully not doing a whole ton. Curious what's in server 6 that it didn't get rezzed. Could be something like Vegeta.
Could be a Regenesis, right? Because the agenda in archives got turned face up, so Regenesis wouldn't have been able to.
That's true.
Score it, so it could have been an attempted Regenesis push that was prevented by the archives run.
That's a very, very good point. Yeah, this could be just sitting there. Although I feel like, we're seeing another Violet level clearance off 15-15, getting tons of gas here. This is a very, very clean start The Bladder War's not doing much, but once you find a hostile infrastructure or Keeling or any of these big res cards, you're gonna end up with a ton of pings of net damage coming at the runner. And Alex, no credits. Not much that they can do right now. They can fire off this account siphon, but just fishing for singles, it looks like.
Yeah, and that kind of feels like the spot you have to be in, right? I mean, you're in a hole here that's going to be really hard for you to climb out of, because if you're trying to get your credits up, that's going to be happening slowly, and that means you're not spending time drawing cards, which means you're more likely to die to some of these assets. So you're kind of in a pit here, and you just need to touch points. It does almost feel like it's gotten that desperate already.
Yeah, and even this account siphon, we're seeing a bacterial programming score as well, or steal rather. This is at this point in the game not great for Alex. It's just going to make things worse. It's going to fuel up archives. It's going to give off 15-15 gas. And yeah, have her fun now. This account siphon, even you think, oh, Snapfire this account siphon, but that's just going to make it even more likely that of 15 can turn on these bladderworts and start really, really putting the foot down and closing out the game and positioning Alex into a close to unwinnable board position. It's not completely out. Alex joking, not the trash one. Boosting up the IG tax. Yeah, it's tough for Alex, but not completely out yet.
No, and I think we're getting some crowdfundings back here, right? At least just one. Okay, just one, not nothing. And it does take a credit off of the corp here.
With the yes, from the corporate grant. We're going to see a tech startup probably pulling, I would imagine, a hostile infrastructure as your big sort of credit sink. Could also be pulling something like a Keeling as well to start restricting the runner's options and oh yeah, off 15-15. The running into the annoying thing with tech startup on JNet, it is not an automatic not an automatic fire, so just need to go and fix that manually.
Yeah, it's a classic peril of playing Eternal on JNet, unfortunately, because many of these cards were implemented during periods in which JNet worked in different ways and had different features. Yeah, Tech Startup is an asset from back in the day when you had to manually resolve all your start of 10 assets.
Yeah.
It was not still a standard when things changed on JNet, so it hasn't been updated, which is fair enough. We wouldn't necessarily expect the JNet team to update every asset from the whole history of the game just for Eternal.
Yes.
But yeah, just something to be aware of when you're playing the format online.
I was seeing as well, yeah, Alex noticing that a different card got trashed to the net damage. So just refixing that, the Bravado was the card that originally got trashed, and on the refire after the undo turn, Citadel got discarded. So we're just doing a little swap there. Very, very gracious opponent there.
Yeah, and we're fetching the Keeling here with the tech startup.
Makes sense
so,
here.
Yeah, that's going to start to really put the choke on here, and also just sinks 3 credits to get us closer to that Blood of War firing, which is definitely possible here with all these face downs. Oh, we see the curfew come in as well. So -1 hand size right now, minus another 2 when the Keeling gets rezzed, and then our 15's turn starts. So yeah, we're feeling the pinch.
Yeah, this is what this IG deck likes to do. The enforced curfew, a weirdly funny include. Corps obviously prefer scarcity as their countercurrent of choice, but in first curfew, an option where it doesn't cost any points and actively fits in with what your deck wants to do, which is very funny. But Alex finding the corporate grant, clearing that -1 hand size and buying themselves just a tiny bit more breathing room. But this is, yeah, we're seeing Keeling get rezzed. This is not a fun position for Alex.
No, I mean, yeah, it is interesting what you say about the curfew, right? There are a lot of Eternal decks that would strongly consider just playing a current that cost 0 credits, 0 influence, and 0 Eternal points. And it just so happens that the only one of those available to Jinteki is also the one that synergizes with the IG game plan, so that's very pleasant.
This is rough, though.
2 more.
3 bioethics. You're getting snared every turn.
Yeah, so this is kind of this is the IG, the kind of IG prison that people might remember from the end of the day. You know, this is the you just you can't get on top of the assets early, archives get out of control, and now the bioethics just sit there laughing at you with their I can only damage you if I'm not eyes to text, but they're protected perfectly well enough by at this point having 7 trash cost each.
It's
And that's
7,
only going to be
yeah,
going
so
up.
it's 21 credits to deal with the bioethics that are pinging you. And even if you are able to somehow muster up that kind of money this turn through magic at this point, those bladderworts or that bladderwort is probably going to start firing now. And yeah, there's a future perfect that of 15-15 can guarantee is unstealable.
Yeah, and is quite happy to pay those 2 credits because it turns the Bloodwort on. So yeah, this is a tough one for Have Fun here. Just in terms of trying to make the desperation plays, you're at the start of the Corpse next turn. You need to make desperation plays to find agendas, and having one of them be gated behind an unwinnable side game is going to really reduce your chances of that.
Yeah, I think yeah, Alex or L1515 saying there, thank you for the bladder fire. Alex, a little bit of fun there, just saying, yeah, you can have it. I'm just being nice here.
Well, and just paying the full 2 again. Yeah. Classic classic side game mind games there, where Haverfun knows that in some ways that 015's best line is to pay 2 because keeping their credits low is good,
mhm.
but and therefore thinks, well, maybe they won't take the line that is best because of side game reasons. And then when they just take the mathematically best line, you feel pretty bad when you've tried to call that bluff. Oh, here we go. The the Valiant
Yeah,
Valiant run on archives.
dying on my sword. This is
Ooh, a 4. Was that 4 traps there? We do see the 3 more points and get to put another bunch of traps into archives potentially.
yeah. This
But
is
so long as we don't put any agendas there, yeah, just leave them on top and let have a die to the traps.
yeah, very very rough. Yeah, I think Alex just got into a bit of a pit there at the start of the game. Couldn't get on top of the assets, as you say. Wasn't able to find the disruptive points to deal with IG, to deal with the board, and then yeah, once IG, it's a bit of a steamroll deck. Once it's able to find that opening to put this like pressure point on the board, it just becomes impossible for them or for the runner to clear the lock piece then. And yeah, you look at this board of Bladderwort, 3 bioethics, and a Keeling, and you're just like, what are you meant to do? What are you meant to do versus this?
Right. I mean, it's a strange one because it's sort of, in some ways, it looks like a prison deck, right? It's like it's creating an unattractive board state that is going to inevitably kill the runner. But also, it's that's a short prison sentence. It just gets you dead real fast. Once it's going, you've got like 2-3 turns. So in some ways, it's less frustrating than playing against something like PU Grinder would be.
Yeah, it looks
Pretty
very
tough game
grindy,
for
but
Alex there.
it often just like the game does often just end in about 2 turns. Once that kind of lock is established, it does just the game does just be over.
Yeah.
Either from hand size reduction or from a bunch of damage getting leveled at you over and over again. But yeah, well done to off 15-15, currently undefeated, 3-0 so far, off their bye week. And yeah, our final game of the night, off 15, Haverfun looking to claw it back, getting their win back on the reverse with their Red Spark deck. This is, I think, a weird matchup.
For sure.
Liza into Spark. So Liza, a runner that some people may be familiar with. We saw last week of 15-15, the only person playing Liza here, making a shot that neither of their first 2 opponents would be on kill decks, and getting pretty good, making that correct prediction. This is a tag me deck. You want to run central, trigger your ID ability to draw 2 cards and take a tag, and then you use that gas, you use the tags to then assemble a giant counter surveillance, which you then use to access upwards of 10, 15 cards in one go and ideally win the game. It gets to play a bunch of protection, things like Paparazzi, Wireless Net Pavilion, Dummy Box, Fall Guy as well, to stop them from dying, to things like High Profile Target, and Boom. But you're actually still a threat. Sort of vegan, quote unquote, tag punishment, things like psychographics, shipment from Vladisibrisc, and closed accounts. Some of which we may see in Alex's Spark deck here.
Yeah, this is the kind of classic, very kind of dicey and high kind of drama matchup between NBN with tag punishment and the runner who's going to try to tag themselves. So yeah, really potentially some really swingy plays here. We see the Mars for Martians in hand to start the game here, potentially, depending on whether we see a mulligan. But that kind of card lets you burst up credits, 1 credit for every tag you have. And then if the corp just follows that up with the closed accounts the next turn, those kind of swings are what you can expect to see in a matchup like this, with credit totals going up and down and potentially some other tag-based interaction, making things really kind of dicey and dramatic. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get to see how much tag punishment Alex is packing in this Spark deck. If this goes, obviously the kill plan is a little bit less reliable, thanks to things like Paparazzi. But the sort of vegan tempo plan we're seeing, off 15 mulliganing a hand that didn't do a ton. This hand looking much better, but Alex could disrupt if we see the double advertisement start. That could be that could put a significant dent in the plans, and we do see warm reception or working prototype rather into tiered subscription. And yeah, the on your turn resing the other tiered subscription. So let's just start with 3 credits.
Nice, yeah. Just normal number of credits to start a game of Netrunner on. That's how much the gamble costs, right? Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, just a lovely little exchange here. Play your Desperado, run ID. You get a credit. The corp gets 2 credits.
Yeah, from each of these subscriptions.
It's looking a little dicey already. We do get the card draw for Liza, but this early tag, also maybe not ideal. It's not optional, the Liza trigger. You have to draw the 2 and take the tag. We see the closed accounts in hand already.
Boy. the jig is a little bit up. Yeah, I have her fun packing some of that non-kill tag punishment, and off 15 just trying to deal with the board a little bit. But those little credit dips from Spark, stopping that sure gamble, stopping both sure gambles, the one drawn off Liza. Yeah, very frustrating there. Those 1 or 2 credit differences making it hard to have that burst start that up 15-15 wanted. But not a ton happening on Haver Fun side of the table yet. Just drawing up twice, looking for another key piece, another key asset to sneak onto the board.
Looks like it's not an advertisement.
Yeah.
To last credit.
Unless Alex wants to. Oh no, we're seeing Alex saying, "No, you're fine."
I'm actually gonna just go and check it here. See the 1 reception. That's
Ooh.
Nice little combo with the Spark there. Derez your 0 cost advertisements, re-res them to know some more credits, and it is going to live here. Interesting choice.
Interesting, yeah.
But maybe you just need to get those credits up, try and get these gambles through.
Yeah, I think you need to get this burst because there's a ton of money sitting in all 15-15's hand right now. We're seeing a Bologna. So that's
the second unsealed agenda we've seen. The NAPD previously. Just impossible to steal all these credit totals.
Yeah, 5 points gated behind 9 credits is a pretty nice position to be in when you're a credit denial corp, facing down a poor runner. But we're back up to 5 credits thanks to Desperado, and we've access to Bologna.
Oh, now can you steal this one? That's already tough call. You steal this then you're just surely you're just never playing these show gambles.
I
You leave it
mean,
here, at least you lose maybe a couple of credits. You get to credit gamble next turn.
in theory, you can. If you steal his Bologna, you can go rogue trading, click rogue trading, play dummy box, and then Alex, you have the daily cast in hand to stop the rogue trading from getting trashed. But that's only one time. If Alex decides to power through the dummy box, you're kind of out of luck. And yeah, all 15 just saying I want the 3 points, putting themselves at 0 credits in the face of a credit corp. This is very risky, I think.
Yeah, and keeping the gambles. I'm not sure. I think your line of keeping the casts for dummy box fuel, I might be throwing out a gamble here, which is going to be tough to play. Might have been better, but getting the 3 points on the board is pretty good. And we, yeah, when you're at 0 credits, closed accounts isn't going to punish you. So
That's true.
not too afraid of what Spark's going to do here, unless they can really build out some more board. Or the
Oof.
scarcity. Wow, just like calling the reliance on road trading here.
Yeah, this isn't great. We're seeing a bit of a reverse game here. We saw Alex in the credit pit last game, now off 15-15. And yeah, Alex going, I will be min-maxing. I'm min-maxing Andy on their turn, or on off 15-15's turn. I think the second off 15 gets a credit. Alex is going to be rezzing an advertisement.
Listen, just using paid ability windows is not min-maxing.
Yeah,
You should normalize using your paid ability windows, people.
absolutely.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
You're allowed.
We don't call that min-maxing in this house. We call that peak efficiency.
That's right. Or being an ob player.
Or being an ob player, exactly.
Yeah, it was through playing Ob in Eternal that I learned about the secret window that's on the corpse turn, but before their start of turn triggers, where you can go turn your Marky Mark into Rashida. Very nice little window.
That is a nice little window. And we're seeing Hammer of Fun is a little bit agenda flooded, but it doesn't really matter because all the agendas that we've accessed from HQ so far are unstealable.
There's another one, another Bologna in
there. That's just kind of taunting. That's just kind of rude.
Yeah. But every run we're getting a credit. This Desperado is like very likely the best card in OF15's deck right now, and is doing just a ton of work to keep applying pressure rather than having our clicks stolen by Spark. One of the ways people used to talk about Spark when it was initially printed as a click stealing ID, right? If you can trigger the ability at the right time to click for creds when they otherwise wouldn't have done, so you've effectively taken a whole click off them with each res, which is obviously a pretty nice exchange. But Desperado kind of counteracting that, where saying, well, if I was going to have to click for credits, at least I get access as while I'm doing it.
Yeah. It's a really nice card in the matchup to kind of deal with the credits, the credit drain. Obviously, yeah, combos amazingly well with Liza. Alex draining with the tiered subscription, and just installing a new card into the remote. And we're seeing all 15 pop the rogue trading down with no protection for it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we had a couple of ways to get to show gamble money here, right? Rogue trading was one of them. The other one was to play the Mars for Martians to go up to 5. And then if that was an asset, an advertisement in service, you could at least run to get up to 5 again and then play a gamble, or indeed both gambles. Instead, we've gone for this play, which puts us on a higher total and does mean that we're not losing a click if that was an advertisement in service 6. But also potentially takes a click from Have Fun to trash this rogue trading.
But I think you're pretty happy doing that. Like you're trading at 2 credits and a click to deal with 12 credits for the runner, which I think.
Yeah, and we also have the closed accounts in hand, right? That we saw earlier, so we can clear out these being gained. There it is.
Yeah, this is, I think, the dicey part of this matchup. Now it depends how many copies of closed accounts Have Fun is running.
Right.
You're typically not going to run a ton. Like, you don't want to have a ton of copies of your tag punishment. Traditional deck building theory, Have Fun has those tiered subscriptions, is just going to Or actually, we're just seeing burning. Yeah, it's
Yeah, so this is a classic make you lose a thing that you don't have move, which I've made this mistake on Janet before with trying to make the runner lose clicks to get them with Heinlein grid, and then realizing that oh, you ran last click, you don't have any clicks to lose. It's kind of an error that's quite easy to make on JNet when the interface is what tells you how many of a thing your opponent has rather than physical tokens.
yeah. Shout out to Heinlein Grid. That's not a card
Oh yeah, that is a card I have lost to in Eternal and won some number of games with it in Eclipse. Yeah,
That's
silly card.
a card that I forgot exists. I won't lie.
Oh, we get the gamble. We found the way to fire the gamble this turn. That's very exciting.
That is very good. And now Alex is in a bit of a rough credit position. No other money assets. Now you do have this great combo where you're able to consistently drain the runner for 2 credits a turn.
Yeah, and so long as the runner keeps running, you are still coming out of that sort of ahead on credits. You're paying 2 for the warm receptions, but you're getting 2 back from the tiered subscriptions. But equally, I'm actually really interested in the way that OO15 played these past couple of turns, because obviously we saw the rogue trading line get punished by the closed accounts, but it did also create another tag to fuel the Mars for Martians, which is how we eventually got into Show Gamble range. And I wonder if OO15 actually took that line intentionally to draw out the closed accounts, put Haverfund down on credits for trashing the rogue trading. And now, yeah, we've not been punished by another closed account, so that seems to be paying off. Really nice approach to the last few turns here to get out of that hole.
Yeah, there's been really clean play from OO15 here. Finding these little lines to find these incremental like sort of credit gains to now put them in a position where they're actually doing okay. And Alex is now the one that has a bit of a tricky economic position. This CPC generator getting rezzed.
Yeah, as a multi-format all-star CPC generator.
Yeah, this is a Spark classic. For those of us who played against a lot of Spark on Jane, this is a classic of the deck archetype. And on 15, I think just charging up now, we're firmly out of the credit, the credit pit, as you say. Finding the turtle now, going to be able to dig into R&D a bit. Potentially, Alex saying really mean. There's a Senses. That's a good find.
Yeah, get that out of there. Pointed card there for Alex, and a really really powerful way to sort of fix these economic issues he's having. Worth noting though, OO15 seems to have overcome the early economic pressure of Spark. But looking towards how do we get through this? How do we win this game? The Spark deck is really resilient to your basic game plan of use counter surveillance, sweep through R&D, right? Because that card in itself requires you to spend a bunch of credits, and then the agendas that you're accessing require you to spend a bunch of credits more to steal them. And we've got a gold farmer on R&D, which is losing you more credits to run through. So actually landing a counter surveillance, even for the we're on now, which is not the hugest number this deck can do, it's going to be really, really expensive if it's actually going to steal any points.
Yeah, like I think OO15 actually wants to like be very judicious with their Lysa triggers, because the thing with counter surveillance is you have to pay the max number of tags. If you have 15 tags, you have to pay 15 credits to get the effect. And you can't say, oh, I'll only pay 10 or whatever. So yeah, I think OO15 is going to need to get very, very rich, preferably another Mars for Martians. But as I say, yeah, I'm not certain how we're going to effectively clear or effectively get into R&D for a counter surveillance dig. So we could be just seeing a very regular game plan here. We might not see a counter surveillance pop off this game.
Yeah. Now, worth noting, we did see those multiple agendas in HQ. I believe one face down got shuffled back by the Spin Doctor there, so that might have been one of those hidden away. But we'd probably at this point expect to have at least a couple in HQ. So potentially you could, while your your tag total is not too high, go for the counter surveillance on HQ, fueled by these Mars for Martians, to try and snag some points that way. And wipe what is potentially a flooded-ish hand at this point.
Yeah, this line here, where you're just clicking for a credit while over hand size, it does scream a little bit that you've got you've agendas that you want to get rid of. Um,
Yeah,
and I-
true.
yeah, so I think getting if you're able to just deal with 2 spin doctors at this point who haven't been able to get like great value out of them is pretty great for you. CPC generator getting a bit of value there.
Yeah, got to play that falsified for the one cost gamble effect. And yeah, one of the downsides of the warm reception engine is it does show the runner what all your cards are and where they are, so you can get your guaranteed expose. Choosing not to go for the Mars for Mars there, so just actually adding another tag, trying to build up more value. And I wonder if maybe the game plan here is we just ignore counter surveillance altogether, and we just like play a good economic game as much as we can,
I think
and
so.
eventually find the agendas wherever they end up in HQ or on the board, because Haverfund's not shown any way to actually score any of them yet.
Yeah,
I don't know what their plan is for actually scoring.
I think their plan, they're likely on AstroScript, which is only a one-off. So I imagine we might see something like a Sansan. But I think in weeks previous, the way they've mostly gotten agendas into their score area is off the board
Yeah,
and just not, just leaving something out and scoring, say, like 3 1s and 3 2s. And yeah, the dummy box is going. I think of 15 is just going to play a Reg Grim into Asset game plan.
yeah, it seems like the approach here. I mean, one card that Haverfund could have is Shipment from Vladisibirsk.
Yes.
Yeah, just scores out those ballooners for a profit. Nice and straightforward. That would be one way to start putting some more pressure and advance towards winning the game.
There's also stuff like psychographics you have access to. You have access to that in standard as well, to be fair, but I think it's been eclipsed in standard by Vladisibirsk. In Eternal, though, you have access to psychographics plus Project Beal, which will let you fast advance out of Project Beal in one swoop if you can get the credits for it.
Yeah, my guess is that Shipment from Vlad eclipses psychographics in Eternal as well.
Probably does.
Yeah, just because like the reliability of landing like 5+ tags pretty hard in a matchup where the runner isn't giving them to themselves.
Yeah.
In this case, yeah, psychographics could work out quite well for you, but in the general case, I think Shipment probably the better card to slot.
Yeah, I think you're right. The one credit and just being able to get 5 3s into your score area, I think is just generally speaking going to be more useful. Yeah, I'm not sure. No, you could as well. I just realized you do also have a chain information.
True.
Is a big one, I think, actually. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a Sea Source.
Sea Source, that's the revised core art for Sea Source. Don't see that very often. Okay, so that's not looking so hot in this matchup where the tags are flowing, just by virtue of the runner's ID ability. Oh, and speaking of tags flowing, we've got the account cipher coming in here, trying to make a big economic swing. No res, so we're just not resing these ice into the highly charged turtle. Tolbooth is going to take some credits away from the runner, but this is going to presumably, siphoning down to 0 here. 10 credits here to 0 for the Corp. Now, do you go and trash some of these econ assets? Is the question?
Yeah, I think you definitely go after the Marlin, and I think you deal with one of the tiered subscriptions. You can also, I think you probably go after the pack campaign. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's the more reliable source of econ, I think. And I think you just want to shut down the econ that you can't control, i.e., like the tiered subscriptions where you can take a turn off. Yeah, going after the pack campaign, I think makes sense here.
Oh no, just using it to click for a credit. We didn't trash it there.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, now we put Haverfund on a 1 credit turn, and they've de-res their own warm receptions here. So actually getting that engine spinning back up is going to need some more to come from somewhere. So yeah, dealing with the Marilyn does deny that kind of engine running so smoothly for a little while, and maybe we can go for the tiered subscriptions next turn.
Yeah, I think ideally Alex would find one thing that we haven't seen them find yet is a turtlebacks, which is really I think the linchpin for the deck's economic plan. being able to like spam out these servers, make a bunch of credits for doing so, and then comboing it then with friends in high places to just like make a whole bunch of money. But off 1515, not a ton of credits right now, only 7. But yeah, they're able to just with this Desperado, like this is all they need now for the rest of the game.
We see that Sensi trashed, and we don't go over the econ after the econ here, so it seems like, yeah, just trashing those Sensis, the card draw effects that are going to help Haverfront filter away agendas. We're just going to keep on top of the board, prevent threats that could actually develop into scoring points here, and let those agendas pile up in HQ.
Yeah, this is when people talk about asset spam, talk about how difficult it is as an archetype to deal with. This is how you deal with it. This is how you deal with asset spam. Kind of traditionally, is you deal with the threats that are on the board, you pressure them economically, and then you just wait for the agendas to pile up, and then ideally win the game in about 1 turn. Working prototype is not terrible. I can't remember what is working prototype installed resource or is it installed card? I presume
No, yeah,
resource.
it only hits resources. Yeah, it does have that that very scary text of put something on the top of the stack, which is always quite a prisony kind of effect. But in this case, no targets are not likely for any to be installed since they just get trashed anyway. So yeah, it's just an economic engine here for Alex, but that is one of the things that they need to get this game plan up and running. So it's a good card to find.
We're seeing a run on archives here. You might be thinking, why are you charging Turtle? Turtle is already at 6 strength. You don't need to charge Turtle, but that is basically clicking for a credit and drawing 2 cards. It makes Proco look positively inefficient. And yeah, we're just seeing the board being cleared out. The tiered subscriptions, I think, have getting rid of the working prototype and the senseis is good. I think you do kind of have to deal with the advertisements here. They're actually, I think, a bit more annoying. You're giving the derez effect. You're giving the re-res, derez thing that Alex has here to keep the credit total low. And I think they are just going to keep generating just enough income that I think you do kind of want to deal with them, but or of 15 preferring just to deal with the assets that propose a non-economic threat.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to note here is that, right, even though Haverfund remains kind of poor, not in a range to res very much more ice probably, we do see the 2 ice on centrals that just combo so well with the agenda suite, right? They're both ones that just deny credits when you run through them. Doesn't matter that this turtle is huge and breaking really efficiently. You're still losing credits to Tollbooth and to Gold Farmers in text. So actually, even just getting in for singles to try and find NAPD contracts, Bologna's, it's going to be kind of tricky when you're getting drained credits every time.
Yeah, I think it's, and you do also. I imagine that this deck is also on pop-up window, which is also another little surprise credit drain that you have whenever you try and fish out for centrals. Yeah, like currently, even with this giant turtle, both centrals cost each piece of ice here is taxing for 4 credits. Even with in strength on Makua.
Well, we're just sticking to functionally clicking for credits here.
I think we are. We're just doing strictly better click for credits because you don't need to do much. Haverfund hasn't posed a scoring threat. I wonder maybe O15 isn't thinking about something like psychographics or, well, obviously not psychographics because of the credit totals, but certainly something like shipment from Vladisibrisc. Because a Bologna shipmented out is a huge swing in the game here. Especially if Haverfund can sneak out something like an Amani, maybe, if they're running that kind of like threat in their deck, that kind of like asset win con in their deck. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure myself if all 15 is respecting that kind of like win condition.
Oh, and we see clicking for credits up to just get this Tollbooth resed on archives, just really shut down that Liza engine, or at least make O15 pay for the cards here, which is gonna potentially slow down the kind of velocity we have as the runner.
There's a pad campaign that you're happy to just leave sitting there. No way that's getting rezzed. Yeah, this is tough for Alex. You're digging for tag punishment basically at this point. Even closed accounts, obviously, Haverfund doesn't know. Um, but the Mars
Oh,
for
the
Martians,
purge.
interesting.
Yeah, purge is interesting. I mean, yeah. I don't love that you're kind of trading turns with the runner, right? They can just run remotes a bunch of times if they want to get those turtle counters back.
Yeah,
But equally, them running means you're getting credits for your tier subscriptions, and your bank
yeah.
campaigns are going to tick. So you're kind of it's weirdly it's like you lose a turn, then the other player loses a turn, and you both gain 4 credits in the process. Kind of a weirdly symmetrical exchange here.
That is very odd. Uh, yeah, and then you get kind of again you get to keep up with the DRes effect as well to keep
Oh,
the
that's
credits.
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
in your warm receptions, you actually get to come out ahead on credits in the exchange. Although not raising the second pad campaign, interestingly. Just clicking for credits
yeah.
instead.
It could be like an IP block or a gold farmer being put onto R&D there, that they want to be able to res.
Yeah, and dedicating these ice to symbols suggests to me that Alex has some kind of game plan that isn't going to be scoring off the table because if your plan is to try and really make these toll booths and gold farmers work for you and stop the runner from getting past them with the credits they need to steal your agendas, you would think that they might be putting those on a remote if they needed to score from a remote. So
Mhm.
not doing that suggests to me that yeah, we're very likely looking at something like Shipment from Vlad, and Everfun, since the senses haven't been able to stick, is just having to try and get there with mandatory amount of time, and still 22 cards in R&D on turn, going to turn 16 here. So yeah,
16.
could be a while to find all those pieces.
Yeah, it could just be a case of where you've only got one of in the deck. The other issue with that is as well, you're down 2 spin doctors. So even if you're able to go Shipment from Vlad, score out of Bologna, use the spin doctor to get that back. Say you're only playing one of, that's only 2 score outs there. That's only 2 agendas that you can kind of guarantee a score on. Unless Alex is also running a what's the 4-pointer vanity project.
Which
Unless you
yeah,
know, I don't know. The more I look at it, I'm not sure how Haver Fun is going to get into a winning position because this doof now just wipes out their credits.
yeah, and we've got that Mars for Martians that's been sitting in hand for a long while here, ready to just like really burst up and go find some of those hard to steal agendas.
I think you're kind of looking at that the Mars for Martians as kind of like, I think you're also looking at it as like closed accounts insurance.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. Yeah.
like if Alex does find that closed accounts again, you can just blow it up. And yeah, there we go. The DRes package is being brought down. The tiered subscriptions are finally coming to an end. They've gained a lot of value this game, but yeah, that is. I think we're going to see now. If the lock wasn't already pretty hard put in place, I think we're now pretty firmly in a. We still actually, in fairness, we still have the DRes package with CPC generator.
Yeah, but we're starting to I mean, those I've already forgotten the name of them. What were those cards called we just trashed? The tiered subscriptions.
Yes.
Installed on turn 1, trashed on turn 16. They made 15
Oh,
credits each.
yeah. I think there's been at least a run every turn.
We're going to
Actually,
need
there
to be
has been
looking
because
at the
the
we're going to need
tag
to look
count
at
as
the
well.
Genet
Yeah.
stats. Yeah, going to need to look at the Genet stats at the end of this game to see gain versus credit lost on both sides are going to be kind of absurd numbers, I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some funky stats for this one. And yeah, look, all Haver Fun can do right now is draw and click for credits. I think the squeeze is being put on pretty firmly here. Oh, we're gonna see a little undo, a little cheeky undo action. Okay.
Yeah. That's a little better of an action than clicking for a credit there. Friends in high places. Fetch back
Yeah.
these key cards.
Get
Waste
back.
tomorrow 15's time.
Working prototype senses actor union. Is working
Same as last
prototype an
time.
advertisement? I have a funny feeling that it is. It is not.
Oh, is it? No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think so. But
I thought it was.
it does threaten to profit quite significantly off of all the other things you're resing. So
Yeah.
it kind of incentivizes OF15 to just waste more time running these assets.
Now, a key thing here, going after the working prototype instead of the Sensi's. So,
Sensi lives.
yeah. The Sensi's is a card that, if you fire it once, can often be very much a significant swing in a game, letting the Sensi's fire. People who played with, not to mention the other game, but in Magic the Gathering, if you've ever played with a card like Jason Mind Sculptor, a powerful card in Magic, if you get to fire that once, twice, or three times, that's usually you usually win the game off that. And Sensi's is a similar card. If you get to fire that once or even twice, you put yourself in a really, really strong position then, no matter what the board was looking like before.
Right,
And Alex now getting the gas, install in 3 remotes.
Exactly, we get to immediately turn those 3 cards into more board state, more pressure on the runner. OF15 employing the rare sliding the bar strategy. Oh, there we go. We're stacking remotes. Okay, thank God.
Okay, thank you.
That'll make things easier.
Thank you to all our players for cooperating. Obviously, the pre-recorded games is a bit of comes with some unusual technical quirks, but our players very, very cooperative in making sure that we can present a good game and a good presentation to you all. And yeah, OF15 clearing out those Sensi's, cannot let them stick for more than a turn.
Yeah, but yeah, we saw that one Sensi fire converted into some econ on the board and another Sensi. So that wastes more of OF15's time as we move towards whatever game plan Haverfront has.
Yeah,
I assume one.
I would have to assume
been a long time coming.
Like, surely maybe they're waiting to find out the last toll booth and use that to score out Bologna's behind. I feel like that's what you're looking at as a game plan to try and win this game. Because it's beginning to I feel like that between Senseis drawing a bunch of their deck and Spin Doctor shuffles, we haven't seen like a shipment from Vlad. And I feel if we did, we'd have seen it fired by now. Like, I feel like I'm beginning to think that the deck isn't on shipment from Vladisibirsk.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're only 2/3 of the way through the deck. It is possible if it's a one-off.
It is possible, but I'm
possible.
I'm just kind of wondering what the plan is for Alex here. And yeah, just seeing we're getting value off of the assets. It's not like nothing is happening on Alex's side of the board. The econ pressure has kind of lessened up a bit. It's not great, but Alex is able to res assets, res cards, get their engine going. But I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're dripping for 6 here, so we're gonna, if we've got some way to turn money into trying to win the game, we should probably be able to do that over the next couple of turns. I don't think OF15 is going to be able to afford to trash these economy advertisements unless they decide to use cash in the Mars for Martians. And also, you're not the only clock you're really on is R&D, because OF15 is not going to be in range to fire a counter surveillance and have anything like enough credits to steal the points that are gated behind credit costs. But we do see a remote iced here.
Maybe go for a push, but Haverfront doesn't know that there's an account siphon in HQ, and that can make this push kind of null and void.
We also have the 8 strength turtle, so any ice is going to get broken basically, unless there's a Turing or something in here that can't be broken by the turtle.
A Turing, very we have an individual of taste here.
Oh yes, I've played many copies of Turing in my time.
A classic an ETF staple. And yeah, having a little think here. OF15. This is the first I think this is the first really significant game action we've seen from Haverfront in a while. As it happens, if your ice suite is gold farmers and toll booths, if that is a gold farmer, I don't think any agenda is stealable unless you click for credits beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, again, it seemed like the think from OF15 there potentially to do with whether now's finally the time to fire off those Mars for Martians. But then, maybe the read here is, look, this is probably a bait remote. It's obvious that I can get in.
Mhm.
And if I fire off this Mars remote, access something bait and then get closed accounts, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Going after the warm receptions, I think this isn't too bad of a play. It's only one credit to trash for you after the Desperado refund, and it does shut down now the credit train now that up 15 is kind of dipping a little bit low.
Yeah, it should
And
let
you
us
throw
start to convert the remaining cards. Presumably, there's some economy cards remaining in the stack. Start to actually convert those into really good. Oh, it was the AR enhanced.
the AR enhanced security. I don't think that's gonna do
Wow.
much. That's a
Well,
largely blank agenda versus
but if our plan is shipment out 253s, then we need another point somewhere, and
that's very true.
this might be the way to get it.
Yeah, you would have kind of hoped it was something like an Astro script to get that again. An Astro script, another card that it's only one of, but if you can fire, if you can get that Astro script scored, an advancement counter at instant speed is quite good. It's a good way of finding a line to winning a game
Yeah,
and just charging turtle and clicking for credits.
I feel like that score to me in the runner's seat, I'd have to read that as, okay, the Corp is going to plan to somehow score 6 more points over the next few turns.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if this sort of just running for credits game plan is going to keep us, keep us going for too much longer. But maybe I'm trigger happy. Maybe I'm pouncing too early. I feel like oh yeah, and indeed, Alex goes back to the slow play with
Yeah.
the manual purge here.
This is fascinating. It's funny how like it's this weird game where Alex has a bunch of money now and can start maybe to look at converting the money into a win condition, especially and you have this like ice on R&D like all 15 as well. Economically, it wasn't looking fantastic. And they've largely, I think they've gotten rid of a lot of their breaking tools as well. So like if they can't get the Amakua up to strength, it's weird. It's a weird little game that we've ended up ourselves in. But I think it's all coming down to when can Alex find the shipment from Pladisibrisk, and will they have enough time to spin doctor it back in to score out the other 5-3? And also, what are we doing with surveillances as well?
Okay, we've got some installs behind the ice here. And there's the closed accounts.
There it
Okay,
is.
so we're kind of asking O15 to have the Mars for Martians here. Are we going to still wait on firing this Mars for Martians? We're being
What are you
really
waiting for?
patient.
Like, this seems like the best opportunity to fire it off now. You've been closed accounts. This basically says counter your closed accounts. No, not playing the Mars for Martians. Mars for Martians.
Steals the Astro out of. Wow, what a read! What a read!
Whoa. Okay.
I do think, yeah, potentially a bit of a bold move from Hava here, unless that Server 23 is also a valuable agenda.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and now we get to go up the 3 credits here and potentially challenge Server 23. Turtle can break most things for 3 credits, not Toll Booth though.
not
Or we just
Toll
may have
Booth.
to take another credit. No, we're going to take another credit.
No, just taking the credit. Yeah, I think Alex was assuming that
Wow.
15 would just play Mars for Martians and they'd score. Yeah, putting the Marlin behind, thinking that was what they were going to try and bait them in. Yeah, risky line. It's a shame if you score that Astro, you suddenly have a couple of different ways of winning from there. But now it's looking a little bit dicey.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're trying to just check the credits here and keep. We're back in the runners in the hole. Do they have credits to challenge the relevant cards on the board? It looks like we're not going to be challenging server 23 here, so we might be able to score more points off the table. But yeah, I do wonder if, although Haverfun has played this game so patiently, I do wonder if just another turn's worth of patience there to like after the closed accounts, before you jam the Astros, see if the Mars for Martians is going to happen. Now, as it turns out, O15 is also the most patient player in the world.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have paid off, but that might have been preferable as we get the 1 point off the table. So we're up to two whole agenda points here for the Corp on turn 25.
This is a lot. This is. I was expecting a bit of a long, weird one with Liza into NBN assets, and we have gotten a long and a weird one. I'm just
this
very
is
curious.
a real game action simulator
This is
experience.
both of these folks really just wanted to play some Euro games instead of some Eternals.
That's right. Yeah.
Understandable enough. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm also. I was thinking there, like, obviously, if you're having fun, let's say this is a toll booth that you have in server 23. It's your third and final toll booth. If you stick a Bologna behind that, say you purge, stick a Bologna, advance, in the hopes of like, oh well, they can't get to enough turtle counters. Come for a siphon.
This is an interesting one. You're losing 4, 5, 7, 8 credits to get in here and gaining 10. So it's +2 credits, -5 for the corp, but the corp's credits are kind of the point now where they probably have enough for the rest of the game. So it's kind of a weird, like, just to click for 3 credits there. I guess it's in a game like this where every credit seems to matter. Maybe that's the play to make.
Maybe 1515 is actually trying to. Oh, okay, yeah. You're just trying to maximize as many credits as you can.
Yeah, to get the server. You know what? I think I'm coming back around the other way. I think I'm back to. Oh, you can let this new sound fire if you just take another tag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I may be back on the Have Fun doesn't have another way to win plan.
I don't think they do. I have a funny feeling that they have scored as many points as they're going to be able to. And yeah, now the spin doctor's gone.
Let's see what goes back in here.
Presumably the close accounts. But close accounts doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, because again, our 15 just so patient with the like just diligent play to just run every click, get a Desperado credit every click, and not have to play that Mars for Martians to recover from that close accounts without falling too far behind. And now we've got the 2 Mars for Martians in hand, so we're just gonna one close account shuffled in, so that next one that comes out, we boost up to 22. There's another one we boost up to 22 again, and at that point, you have to believe that those credits are going to be enough to carry our 15 to victory.
Yeah, this Turtleback is coming in. There's only 7 cards left in R&D. You don't even need, like, there's 2 counter surveillance in hand that you just don't need. Like, genuinely, the only cards that matter now for 015 are the 2 copies of Mars for Martians that they have. Everything else is completely irrelevant. We're seeing probably, I'm going to guess that is the last toll booth. So maybe Have Fun is looking to go have a line of, say, closed accounts into install advance and NAPD contract. Or NAPD contract. NAPD coordinate is the lockdown. So yeah, that's a line that they have available to them.
Oh, we're checking our guys here. And we see the points.
There's the points there.
Yeah, they've got to end up somewhere. Wow.
Patient play.
Okay, let's have a look at these stats, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
the corp 110, 95 spent. Credits gained by the run 166, 104 spent. I assume that includes the ones lost to Spark.
Think so.
There's 166 gained, 104 spent. There's approximately 60 credits not accounted for there. So that might be the Spark.
Oh yeah, that must be the I think the Spark triggers.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking at something like 60 credits denied by Spark in the game.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Not enough.
Not enough, apparently.
Denying 2 copies of Mars for Martians still sat in the grip. Unbelievably patient play from our 15.
Yeah.
Really, a real masterclass there.
Yeah, really, that was. It wasn't maybe a showcase, an exciting, full of fireworks kind of thriller. But if you want to have an example of how to dismantle assets, especially as Red Crim, that's how you do it. Really patient, just again methodical, technical, excellently technical play there from 1515 to go to 4-0, remaining undefeated in the Eternal Super League so far.
Yeah, really impressive. And yeah, if you're the kind of sicko like me who watched all 41 minutes of that and actually really enjoyed it, then this format might be for you.
Yeah, maybe this isn't if you're maybe a slightly, maybe you're not as experienced with Eternal, maybe you're a slightly more casual player, you're probably looking at that and thinking that game was dry. For me, that was incredible. It's a bit like watching a David Lynch film. Where you have half the room are like, I have no idea what's happening and I'm a bit bored, and you have the other half going, this is artwork. But yeah, well done to both players. We have the stats here now at the end of this week, and we see a clear, or actually, sorry, not clear. We have a tied first place, Augustus Caesar and Of 1515, both on 4 wins, both with a tiebreaker score, Sun and Burnberger score of 8. They are in tied first right now. Obviously, Of 1515 has a game in hand over Augustus. Or no, sorry, the other way around. Or have I said that right? I'm very tired. I've been talking for too long. But either way, Of 1515 is a game behind Augustus, and has matched him on points. But in third place, only behind because of tiebreakers, is Yasengrin, also with 4 wins to his name on 12 points. And behind we have Lorrea and Toron both on 9. Jai and Sound Arbiter on 6. We did see Jai drop a place thanks to his bye this week. And Ren currently in joint last place with Haver of Fun on 3 points, 1 win. Yeah, end of phase 1. We will not be seeing these decks again. Players will have the opportunity to change deck lists. We're at a bit of a milestone. Kerba, thoughts on this week, the standings, and Eternal Super League so far?
I mean, again, we had a week that really showed the kind of breadth of the format. I think we had a few kind of really high drama, fast, intense games in there. We had a couple of games where a deck just really was able to enact its game plan, like an IG game, for example, that just ran away with the game, got things over in short order, the kind of thing that people might come to expect from the format. But then we had the kind of a weird, peculiar matchup with the Acer Ob game, and then again, and a much more grindy, interesting technical game that we just watched. So yeah, really, we're seeing the breadth of the format here, which is really, really fun and interesting, I think. And yeah, and also in terms of the league format, I actually really like the kind of fuzziness that this that one assess. Who's in touching distance of winning this whole thing? Who's going to be able to climb some places over the next couple of weeks? And then once we get into weeks 7, 8, 9, when there's only 1 or 2 players left who are a game behind, or a game ahead rather, then that will start to line up again in a way that it's going to be really interesting to follow over the next 6 more weeks. Very exciting. We're just getting started.
We've 6. Yeah, it's crazy. We've six more weeks. 2 more phases, obviously. So we have next week, we will see all new deck lists. In theory, we might be seeing some tweaks from some people. We might be seeing some people might decide to just run it back with the 90 odd cards that they've decided to submit. Some people might be
90 odd is 90 odd an underestimate in some cases.
Yes, maybe 90 odd might become the minority option. But yes, next week we'll be seeing brand new deck lists from the players. We will also be seeing, I don't know if we can get it up on screen, but we see here at the top of the standings, Augustus Caesar and Of 1515 tied in first place. Guess who gets to play next week? We will be having a top of the table clash. Of 15 and Of 1515 and Augustus Caesar will be playing next week in round 4. So yeah, very exciting. We're going to see kind of who can break that parity, or will we maintain both players tied going into week 5.
A real Super Sunday there. Very fun.
Yeah, a little bit of a Super Sunday. If you're a fan of the Premier League and Netrunner, this seems ideal for you. So yes, I think that's all we have now. Once again, a shout out to Warlock, and we have pictures up for next week. Augustus Caesar and Of 1515, top of the table clash between our 2 players. One of them undefeated, one of them sitting on 4 and 2. Both players have 4 wins. And yeah, we have some interesting pairings coming up next week. So yeah, very much looking forward to next week. Start of phase 1, a top of the table clash. Cobra, anything to say before we leave?
Not particularly, no. Other than thanks again for having me. Happy to be here, and hopefully back on a future week. And otherwise, I'll be watching along with interest. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Once again, before we go, a quick shout out again to Wirelock and his recent appointment to the Eternal format lead. As we mentioned at the start, Eternal playtesting for the next points update has started. So if you're interested, please check out the Null Signal Games website. Have a look for the article there. The link to the playtest server is in the article. So go ahead and join if you're interested in taking part in shaping the format. It'd be great to have some people on. The format's been getting a lot of attention, a lot of hype the last few weeks. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your evening, afternoon, day, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching in the world. We hope you enjoyed this week, and we'll see you again next week for some more